Yeah, fair.
That's true. Twitch did copyright strike a stream of people playing Phasmophobia because they were whispering and it sounded like a meditation album. So.
Oh, well,
Yes.
that's ASMR out the window. Damn it.
The system just works.
I'd rather avoid
Todd
our
Howard
charity
designing
live stream
Twitch.
getting DMCA takedown or muted for an extended period of time.
Oh no! Yes, Stretch Goal I sings Balamori again.
Oh, come on.
That was good.
Was it? I don't remember. I think I remember singing it once for Stardew Valley.
Yeah, it's clipped. That's how I heard it.
Yeah, it's also cursed. Oh god. Shite. Right, these mantis
Yes,
orbs are tough.
Twitch did play music over Metallica on a stream that they were hosting.
But you know what? That fucking serves Metallica right because they were the ones that got Napster taken down in the first place, so fuck them.
Yeah, I was gonna say Metallica started the whole shit, didn't they?
Yeah.
I
remember-
Metallica.
I remember when, well, I don't remember because it happened like years before I was born, but when there was the whole Mothers Against like rock or metal stuff, and they brought in John Denver and it's like John Denver's a nice country singer. He'll be on our side. And then John Denver basically sat at the stand and was like, "Fuck this. This is stupid. Let musicians do what they want."
Yeah.
Like completely destroyed their case. And then John Denver died in a fucking plane accident because apparently he's the most metal person on the planet. Yes, the country roads guy.
Fuck you. You know, that was actually the one good thing about Fallout 76. Was the fact that Country Roads was on the radio. Ah, fucking hell, man.
I remember the hype for Fallout 76. It was a simpler time. I miss those days. Take me back, please. Please take me back, Todd.
Back to the better timeline where it's actually good.
So you kind of saying, "Take me home, country roads."
I walked right into that one. I am.
And
Take me home,
Sky
country
is now going to be put on a 10-minute timeout
You cannot silence the truth.
for crimes against humanity.
It's actually kind of strange the amount of musicians that have died in plane crashes. Like
Music
one
can
off
stay on the ground.
One off the top of my head is Stan Rogers, who anyone outside of Canada probably doesn't know, but he did Barrett's Privateers, which is the Now I'm a Broken Man on the Halifax Pier, the last of Barrett's Privateers, which is the only one that got big outside the country. He's a Canadian folk singer, but he died in some plane accident quite young, and it was all tragic and such, which I sound super uncaring right now. I do like his music. It does mean a lot. But yeah, no, it's very odd how many musicians seem to have passed away in plane accidents. And actors as well, yes. Sorry, this got dark.
Did you end up getting sushi in the end?
I did. I just stealthily ate it because I didn't want people to see me looking horrible, and I didn't want to see people chant mukbang.
Sushi ASMR. That's the
yeah,
next stretch goal.
I was gonna go pizza, and then I was like, let's like I'm trying to be a wee bit healthier, and I think sushi is slightly healthier than pizza. Favorite sushi? Oh, there's really nice soft shell crab sushi at the place that we ordered from. That's probably my favorite. But I also quite like California rolls. They're nice.
I've watched you just beat the crap out of that small little guy so many times.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he's like one of the bosses that's just a twat. So you've got to keep on battering him. There we go. Fun fact about this boss for anyone who's remotely interested in Hollow Knight: once you get him down to like his final stage, you'll actually stay on the ground indefinitely, and that means you can harvest them for soul, which you use to heal. So whenever you're fighting this dude, you always leave with full health and full soul, provided you survive to the end.
My favorite Hollow Knight like joke meme thing is how a bunch of new players, like every time someone starts playing the game, they beat the false knight and they're like, so was that the Hollow Knight? Even though
Maybe the real Hollow Knight was the friends we made along the way.
Yeah.
It was.
Well,
What's
this
everyone else's favourite sushi?
Oh, I don't eat fish, so I will say my favorite Japanese dish. Well, I guess they do make sushi without fish. I don't like sushi in general, but my favorite Japanese dish is beef tataki, which is thin sliced, very rare beef in spicy sauce.
If you would like another fun autism fact from Harley, sushi actually refers to the rice that's in it, not actually the fish.
Huh.
I knew that one.
I am here all night with fun facts.
I knew
Nothing
that
useful,
sushi rice was a
only
thing, but I didn't know
random
that.
stuff.
Oh, that's okay. All my fun facts are like about Star Wars and stuff, and it's not even up to date.
Hey, Gorb's back.
Shut up, Gorb's a
Gorb.
twat.
What about you, Joy?
Scotland.
Me, sushi. I used to like California rolls, but then, yeah, it's been forever since I've been able to have it. But that used to be my favorite, was the California rolls.
I asked the question, I don't even eat sushi at this point.
I guess I don't. Again, I don't eat it, but the fun local roll that we do here in BC is fittingly the BC roll, and it has like crispy salmon skin in it, and is apparently quite yummy. But I don't like salmon, so I have not eaten it.
Very interesting question in the chat. What's everyone's favorite random fact?
Oh.
I can start.
Go for it.
To my knowledge, and this might be wrong, the song Country Roads by John Denver isn't about West Virginia, it's about the west of Virginia. And Virginian people get really annoyed when you think it's the other one. Because I believe the Blue Ridge Mountains and the Shenandoah River are only visible in the west of the state of Virginia and not visible in the state of West Virginia.
That's wild.
Well, he should have made the fucking song right then.
Well, he died in a plane crash, so, you know, you can't exactly go and correct him now.
Here is my Thembo moment. I just learned apparently that West Virginia and Virginia are different states.
Oh, Harley.
I am so sorry, Americans. Add it to my call out post.
We had this conversation in the AyeforScotland server like last night, where people were talking about it because it was also about how there's no North and South Lothian.
See, I went to bed really early last night for preparation for this. I missed this, and now I've learned it on stream just as a total himbo.
My favourite fact is that when a wombat is trying to kill the predator that's chasing it, it'll accelerate really, really quickly and then stop dead at half a pace, and the predator runs into the back of the wombat's arse and smashes its face. That's how wombats beat predators.
Death by booty.
Basically death by ass.
Wombats have square poop.
Oh, I did know that. That, yeah, it's weird ass intestines.
I was gonna say same.
I too have
Moving
weird
on.
ass intestines.
Harley, favorite random fact.
Okay, here's my go-to favorite random fact from my favorite movie of all time. In Jurassic Park, the animatronic T-Rex would malfunction in the rainy scenes and start moving its jaw and terrifying all of the workers there. This full-sized animatronic T-Rex just deciding to bite at random times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nah. Nah.
Yep. That sounds like something that belongs in Joy's house.
You're not wrong.
Here's the 20 mattress garage and this giant animatronic T-Rex.
The bites at random.
We put it next to the cursed microwave.
Blind Panda Bear. It's not the guy got stuck in the mouth, but a guy was in there repinning the skin to the joints, and you had to have the animatronic like on, or it was either like I think it had to stay on while you were in it, because otherwise stuff would go wrong, and there was a power cut while someone was inside the animatronic fixing stuff.
And it closed.
And basically the power cut, and everyone was worried that this guy had been like sliced into tiny bits, but it turns out he just curled up in a ball and he was fine.
Joy, do you have a favorite random fact?
The reason all airplane food tastes like garbage is because elevated altitude and the low pressure of the cabin reduces your taste bud sensitivity by 30%.
Huh.
Lovely.
That's
I
a
genuinely
sounds like
thought
a
it was just
percentage.
shit.
Airplane food is not as bad as you think it is. It's the altitude and the low pressure from the cabin screwing you over. So, yeah.
That's interesting actually, because even like snacks that you kind of take onto a plane, they
Taste like shit.
Yeah, they taste like shit too. And you always chalk it up to, oh well, like, you know, if you'd bought it, on the ground, and like it stayed on the ground and never been up in the air, you probably would have just been like, oh well, I bought that packet of crisps like, you know, last week or like whatever. They're fine to eat. The moment you're up in the air and you're like 3 hours into a flight and you go and eat your crisps, you're like, well, I'm not really that surprised because, you know, they've been in an airport and like even though you've only had 3 hours with the packet of crisps, you're like, yeah, well, they've been through so much. They've been through security. You know, it's like no wonder they taste a bit off. But no, it was my taste buds all along, the bastards.
It's your salt and sugar sensitivity goes down by 30%. So, fun fact. If you want fun random body facts, I've got all of them for usually medical reasons.
I'm curious into, does that also apply to space?
I just want to cut in right now. Casey Explosion approves of the AyeforScotland Highland coup for Solar.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, Casey.
Wonderful.
All of you need jailed for crimes. Fuck.
I guess I have a couple of fun random facts that are specifically Canadian based. One of them I only found out today because I was talking about this thing that I thought was completely normal in a server, and everyone was like, what the hell are you talking about? What dimension do you live in? Apparently, vinegar packets aren't a thing in America, like at fast food restaurants. They're very common here. I worked in fast food and we had vinegar packets at the condiment stands. But apparently in America, it's not a thing. Yeah, and I freaked out a bunch of Americans today because I was like, yeah, vinegar packets.
There is a place here in Twin Cities, and their sole selling point is
Cheers,
that they
Rocket
do salt and vinegar fries. That's like their main. It's like that's like their. Oh yeah, this is like a really exclusive thing, and half of like the whole of Britain's like, what? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a thing. Like Americans don't really vinegar stuff. that I've noticed.
And
It's in sauces and things, but you can't just get vinegar.
Yeah. No,
I'm
it's so
gonna-
weird because like here, you go to a restaurant and in the little caddy that has the ketchup bottle and the salt and pepper shakers, there's a bottle of vinegar.
Mm-hmm.
And like at the McDonald's, there will be vinegar packets at the drink station and stuff. And I'm assuming it's similar in the UK because Canada is the bastard child of the UK and America in every way. But
I'm gonna completely whiplash the tone of the stream real quick. Joy, I have a question. If you would like to answer it, just about like your experience in writing LGBT fiction, and especially with in a primarily online space as well.
Oh, for sure.
That's a good question.
Suddenly we're like 4 hours
back
into
on
the
course.
conversation, and I've whipped us back into the topic out of nowhere. ahead.
Yeah, Hunger Pangs is really interesting because it is not how I would traditionally draft a book. It was very much influenced by Patreon and Tumblr, and it's really funny because things that I would have otherwise have been accused of, including for tokenism, like I use a lot of they, them, non-binary pronouns in my work, and I did get a couple of emails at first where people were going, oh, this feels very token, and I'm like, no, this is my reality because most of my named characters are Patreon inserts. So you are seeing the reality of my existence. This is what my world looks like. I have like one token straight friend, and that's about it. So for me, it's a really surreal experience because you have all these people accusing me of tokenism for, I mean, all these people. They've been very minor compared to the other feedback I've gotten. Oh, it's very token, you have all these minor, like, whatever, and I'm going, this is my reality. This is, you know, the world I live in. These are the people I interact with. They're literally the people who I know. Like, there's people in this chat right now who I can be like, yeah, they're in my book. Because, you know, so that's a weird thing that I've done, I've experienced from an LGBT aspect, is you have people that are trying to, you're not good enough, even though you've done the thing. And it is reality, it's not just, it's this very weird thing of you're never doing enough, but then if you try to do more, you're getting told, I don't know, it's a weird thing, but because the book was written primarily with so much input from my audience, I think that also has greatly altered my perspective of a lot of it. I mean, the book was always going to be gay as hell, let's be honest. There was no way it wasn't going to be. But it's really like I love how it turned out. Like when I opened it up to named characters, I had no idea the level of, I thought I'd get maybe like 5 people. I ended up with, I actually had to put some people into book 2 because I had over 100 people apply to use their name. And rocket plane. It's you know, it's really surreal to have people trying to claim that you've done something for brownie points, and it's like, no, I've just done reality. Like that's
the old virtue signaling argument.
yeah, and it's really weird too because I've had people, I've had messages on Twitter, and it's just like, it doesn't say anywhere if you're LGBT, and I don't want to buy this book until I know. And that's okay, fine. You want own voices, but at the same time, it's I like the own voices tag. I like that people can identify with it, but there is a lot of pressure for people to out themselves to be proven valid, right?
Yeah.
And I don't like that. Especially because one of my friends who is trans, they were forced into outing themselves publicly on Twitter because people were saying, oh, this whatever they've done was they were trying to accuse them of this, and it was like, no, this is their lived experience. Just because they're not out doesn't mean. Yeah, so I have a lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I basically I've spoke about it on stream. I is going to be sick of hearing it by now, so it's Harley, I think. When I came out as bisexual, I basically was forced to out myself because everyone was very confused about why I had suddenly gotten very defensive over bisexual people being called greedy and being told to choose. I'm like, hello, my close friends who have never met a gay in their life. I'm bi, and then they weren't my close friends anymore.
Yeah, that also happened with me. It was, why are you writing this thing? You can't write this because you're. That was again going back to when I was talking about my own experiences. It was like, you're married to a man. Why are you writing this? And I'm like, being married to a man doesn't negate me being bisexual. Like, but it forced it. It was the same thing happened with a lot of fandom culture is very toxic, and I was actually forced to out myself as a sexual assault survivor because people wanted proof that you had credentials to talk about things.
I was just about to mention that, Joy, because it's very similar to the own voices thing of, oh, well, you can't write about this trauma unless you've experienced it. And it's like, okay, so you're asking me to share my personal trauma on Twitter and or Tumblr to satisfy your curiosity?
Yeah. And it is really awful. I'm still it happened years ago, and I'm still angry about it because I hadn't even told my partner at the time about it.
It's horrendous.
So they find out online. So it's just like, it's a weird experience to be so open and out there with online culture, and you're trying to create things, and you're being held to a higher standard than a lot of the mainstream media is, but you're also more accessible than a lot of those people from mainstream media are. It's very easy to reach out to a small indie creator and be like, hey, this is what you're doing wrong and you're a terrible person. Those other people, their messages are being filtered by assistants.
Yeah, as small content creators, we don't have PR people, we don't have a team behind us. It's just us, and sometimes we are held at even higher standards, and unfortunately the social media culture, people are just very brave behind their keyboards. I remember one of the first experiences I had on Twitter not long after I messaged me saying, Harley, don't join Twitter, please don't run while you still can, and I ignored you very cleverly, and I had posted a photo of myself with the trans flag at the march where I met the lovely Aye, and Twitter was not happy about this, and I got called a rape apologist and rapist. And then had to be like, as someone who's had that trauma, could you just not? If you claim to care about victims, why are you hurling those words around willy-nilly to just anyone you don't like?
Yeah.
It also, part of I get really annoyed because a lot of it just takes away from the severity of the actual crime. When they throw around random accusations, it really, as a survivor of these things, it really makes me feel like, oh wow, you really don't understand, and you also don't value this. And you're also you're throwing it around because it gets a reaction from people.
Yeah. Especially when you are a marginalized identity, like so many LGBT people face higher rates of domestic abuse and violence. So do disabled people, up to 3 times more likely to experience that. And then you log on and someone just calls you it just because your identity, and you're just sat there like, I can't even say that word about myself. And here's people just throwing it around on Twitter simply because you're part of an LGBT community.
It really,
Just real quick, obviously the topic is getting fairly heavy, so if anyone in the chat needs to dip out, we fully understand. Or anyone in the call as well.
Can I jump in and be very thankful to Tundra, Katie Bean, and Holy Muffins Tumblr for subscribing. And Holy Muffins Tumblr, you subscribed for 6 months in advance, which is incredible.
Oh wow!
Any money that's raised via subscriptions is obviously going to be added to the total. and the minimum Twitch payout is £100. So the moment that that's kind of done, I think it needs to. I think they normally do payouts in the first 2 weeks. So if we've kind of made over the line, which I'm sure we have this stream, giving it all the bits and stuff, that'll be added. So just a heads up.
Daisy Cakey as well, thank you for the subscription.
Yes, Daisy Cakey as well. Sorry about that. Notification had vanished.
Yeah, the notifications go by quite quick, but I'm completely gobsmacked by the overwhelming support. We've been preparing for every kind of scenario and preparing for the worst, preparing for any hassle, and it's just been positivity and brilliance, and sitting here looking like we might smash £7,000 goal. I'm gobsmacked. Like, honestly, I'm sure a lot of people will agree, being part of the LGBT community and the current climate, you feel quite isolated at times. And now all of you guys just coming through with the support, I have already cried once on the stream. I could cry again, I really could.
Yeah, like, that is, I remember, I think I said it to you, when we were planning, in the very early stages of planning it, when it was just you and me trying to come up with this. Thank God we brought in other people, am I right?
Yep.
That even if we get, just 500 quid, if we can raise support, make people feel like there's a community and people out there who actually care about them, especially in a political and a media landscape that is hostile to people like us, then that does so much more. That does so much good, and would personally be enough for me. If anyone has epilepsy, look away from the screen.
Yeah, sorry.
Epilepsy or migraines.
That one too. Yes, or migraines. But yeah, like, the support that the various communities coming together have shown has been fucking outstanding.
It's been class, and we've still got.
I had
5 hours to go.
I had the moment in the shower this morning, that last minute stage fear where I was washing my hair. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? This is never gonna work. We are not prepared to do this. And I was thankfully proven wrong. You were nervous right up until last night.
Yeah, I know. It's positive nerves though, not negative nerves. There's 2 different types of nerves.
Yeah, well, I'm the pessimist of our partnership.
Yeah.
Say your Discord and your mods and everyone are wonderful. This is the most organized thing I've been brought into. It's been great. Like, everyone has been so lovely and wonderful to talk to and just really supportive. And I've noticed that my Twitter following now has a bunch more Scottish people than it had before, so that's nice.
Hooray! There's dozens of us. Dozens.
It's been wonderful networking and just getting to speak to. We've had some amazing speakers on, and just the range of topics we've covered. I've been here the whole 18 hours and 39 minutes, but I'm still.
Not that we're counting.
Not that I'm counting, but I needs this on YouTube. I want to watch it all again.
We will be putting it on YouTube.
Oh.
Harley, I do humbly thank you so much, but I'm also like, you should get a break and some sleep.
Honestly, I have been in my pajamas for maybe the last 14 hours, and I am sprawled on the sofa, very professionally, with a giant 2-litre bottle of Tango. I've come this far, I'm sticking it out till the end. ADHD power, see me through.
All I'm saying is please look after yourself.
Yeah, we joked about it before, but we were kind of serious with the only people who should be going through this hell are me and I.
Yeah.
I.
Well, thankfully you've got someone with insomnia on the team. I mean, it was only just last week I stayed up
Someone
for 48
else.
hours because I had to do some emergency babysitting. and I stayed up for 48 hours, and that's just frankly quite normal for me.
Insomnia gang.
Insomnia gang.
I'm looking. What we're doing is we're changing our sheets before we go to bed. I'm gonna have the comfiest fucking sleep ever.
Yeah, my normal indication that I need to go to bed is right about now. I would be messaging me being like morning, and I'd be like, oh fuck, okay, I need to try and sleep for a few hours. I is like the reverse alarm clock.
Yeah.
He messages me and I go to bed.
I'm the early riser and you're the kind of like night owl.
That's one thing I'm not looking forward to about us leaving winter. Is soon I'm gonna have daylight creeping in and reminding me of my messed up sleep schedule. Like, no, go away, birds. Stop reminding me that I should be asleep already.
I was fully nocturnal when I was doing the final edits for Hunger Pangs. And my editors are fully nocturnal as well at this point. So I would be working and the Mothman would be getting up to go to work. And I'd be heading to bed. It would just be completely different time schedules. But that was what my ADHD wanted to do. It wanted to be awake at night time to finish the project.
Yeah, that's the so I'm gonna mispronounce that, circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
Which is quite an interesting thing that I don't think a lot of people know about.
What is that exactly?
My roommate.
Your circadian rhythm it regulates your internal clock. It does a bunch of other stuff too that's important. But if you have ADHD or some other type of neurodivergence, your clock tends to be set later than everybody else's, so you tend to be a bit of a night owl, and you have problems falling asleep. And it's very true for me that I am a natural night owl. I normally can't fall asleep until at least 2 or 3 in the morning. If I try to go to bed before that, unless I am in the middle of a fatigue episode, then I will not fall asleep. But I get my most work done at night.
Yeah. I'm very similar. I just slipped back into the accent there. I saw someone in the chat incidentally, Joy, point out that your accent has gotten thicker the longer you've been on stream.
I'm with my people. So that's you know how rarely I get to use this voice.
One of us.
Actually, your comment there, Joy. Actually, I have a question for you, if that's all right.
Course, on you go.
Because you don't often meet people with the same kind of health issues. Have you ever had the experience, or if anyone in chat has ever had the experience, when you deal with chronic fatigue and ADHD at the same time, where your ADHD is screaming at you to do something, but your body is screaming at you to do nothing?
Oh, constantly. Yeah, that is the main battle of my life. That is, my fatigue's gotten better since I got my diagnosis and I started doing treatment, but the days when I get hit by the fatigue are the days that I resent the most, because my brain will still be on, but it's like the wheels are turning, but there's nowhere for it to go. It is the thing that I talk about the most in therapy, to be honest, because I get so frustrated with it. But it's chronic fatigue and ADHD is a hell combination, because there's times when you have the physical energy, but you don't have the mental energy. And then there's times when your brain just wants to do the thing, it's firing on all cylinders, and then your body has just given out.
Tony in the chat is saying that they're autistic and might have chronic fatigue and are very much relating to it.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of comments saying me too in the chat, and I'm very sad we all have to deal with it, but I'm very glad that we're not alone.
I wonder why all my followers who all have ADHD and or autism are having the same experience.
Well, this is the important thing about building a community.
It is, and that's the biggest thing. That is the going back to it as well, like being a night owl. I have made friends who are also night owls because of online communities. Having online spaces is so valuable, and it really does feel like coming home sometimes. To just have people that understand you and they relate to you in every aspect, whether it's LGBT, disability, your something like neurodivergence, or just even, you know, it's so nice to have access to that.
It is. I don't think my friendship with Torn would be nearly as good if I didn't have the inability to go to sleep. With Torn being based in New Zealand and me being here in Scotland.
Oh, you're almost opposites.
Yeah. There are occasional times I believe we are exactly opposites. When daylight savings and stuff kick in. Or the other way around, they kick out. Also, we got away from it, but a little personal kind of confession thing. When I was building up this stream, and with I obviously, but on my end, I was talking to someone kind of close to me, and they were confused as to why I was doing all of this. And I obviously explained, you know, horrible trans representation in the UK. And they said, and I remember it quite clearly, but you're not trans. And I very, without thinking, went, yes I am. And then was like, oh no, I've done it again!
So, sometimes you do just come out by accident.
But I had to out myself to justify to cis people why I'm doing this. Which is kind of odd.
But I outed myself to my parents by my book being successful, so that was fun.
Oh, I think I saw that Tumblr post.
I'm sure they're wondering why I write a lot of LGBT stuff, and the answer is fairly obvious if you think about it, Mum and Dad, when you do inevitably find this video. But we still haven't discussed it, and it will never come up. I know it will never come up. But it's nice to be home with people that understand, and just to have that community after not having it.
Yeah, I have quite a similar. Oh, sorry, Lego.
Oh, I was gonna say, I half outed myself / was outed to my family by my family, because when I was in high school, I thought to myself, I'm gonna go to grad with an undercut, in a suit, with another girl, and no one will think anything about it because it's 2017. I was not out to anyone in my family. I was like, no, like it's just, I just want to wear a suit and I'll go with the girl and it doesn't mean anything. And then my dad sent pictures to my nanny, and my nanny emailed him back and said, so is that her girlfriend? And my dad sat me down and said, if I have to have an uncomfortable conversation with my parent, then you have to have an uncomfortable conversation with your parent.
Oh, fucking hell.
And at the time, it was very shitty, but in retrospect, it's hilarious because I was also very dumb. And at the time, I was not dating that person. We did end up dating a couple of years later for like 4 months. But yeah.
Yeah, I have 2 accidental outing stories. One good, one bad. The first time, I used to live with my gran and was her carer, and she found my draft letter to the gender identity clinic while she was tidying my room for me, because that was the kind of granny she was. And we were in the car, and she just kind of turned before we got out, and she was like, I just want you to know that whether you're a man, a woman, or nothing, I will always love you. And this was a 77-year-old Irish Catholic woman, by the way, so age and religion are no excuse. And she actually helped me make my sign for Pride that was, I put the bi in non-binary.
I love that.
She has sadly since passed away. but she supported everyone in the LGBT community. She was adamant that she knew her God loved all of his children and supported them all, and she would argue with homophobes and transphobes in church. She was a legend. Shout out to Jerry, you were a one of a kind. And the second time was, bless me for being the theatre gay, I accidentally came out because I watched Rent with my family. And it got onto a bit of a, I'm not going to badmouth my family on a live stream, but we got onto a bit of a heated conversation about trans people, and I accidentally said we.
Oh yeah.
And
there was an oh yeah there, and then just in the background all I heard was oh no.
Yeah, unfortunately that was a conversation. I think that's another shout out for Eye's Discord. That was me greeting him there at like 2 in the morning to everybody, saying what happened, and everyone was absolutely there for me. So there's another example of how important the community is, of having a crisis and everyone's there for you.
Yeah. I had another accidental coming out, which is more funny. I've begun studying my masters. I'm halfway through my second trimester at the moment, and I remember distinctly the first Zoom meeting because everyone in my undergrad knew I was at least the gay kid, one of the gay kids in the class. And then later that I was a trans kid. I'm like, I'm not going to immediately let myself be defined as the queer member of class. I'm not going to do it. For maybe the first hour of the meeting, and then like, Sky, can you introduce yourself? And they're like, well, my name is my other name. Might not always be, I'm trans. And I'm like, well, it's the first thing I said was, yeah, I'm trans. and people watch me visibly like realize what I said and just shrink into myself and be like, and I also like to make these kind of films.
So, in a way, you basically just asserted dominance. That's how you can see it.
Yeah.
I hate Dusk.
It's interesting because as LGBT people, we never really stop coming out.
Oh god, yeah.
Which is a very unique struggle.
I was.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not out as any flavor of trans to anyone who I know, only IRL. Which is fun, but it's mainly because I am fun flavored trans, because I'm bigender, so it's not like I'm bigender and I'm non-dysphoric, and I'm fine with my with the pronouns that fit with what I was assigned at birth. So it's very, very easy for people to continue to treat me the same way. And I don't necessarily want that, but at the same time, it's easier than exposing myself and telling people to do these new things with me and then them not doing it because I'm okay with, like, just because I'm okay with my birth name and she, her pronouns doesn't mean that I don't want to be called by my chosen and have people use he, him pronouns. Like
there's a lot of like small microaggressions that I think a lot of non-binary and other versions of trans will sometimes get. Like if you use multiple sets of pronouns, like myself, I use they, them, or he, him, and I have noticed that most people will default to solely using he, him, which I can understand because it might come more natural than they, them, but it does get a bit like, please sprinkle in a little bit of both. But sometimes even just correcting your friends on your pronouns can be so hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know they don't mean it in a bad way, and you know they love you, and you know they support you. But I'm always so nervous to just be like, let's stay them, please.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things as well where, I've had friends who will be sitting there and they'll be going, oh yeah, he, and I will just as they're continuing to speak, be like, they. And they make a very big deal about apologizing, and I'm like, I get it, you messed up, can we just move on and keep the conversation going, please? We don't need to turn it into a thing. I understand mistakes get made.
Yeah.
We don't have to have now like a 20-minute discussion about it.
Yeah, because I think, like, a few times where I've managed to just, like, correct someone, it's good if, like, quickly, like, move on in public, and then I always appreciate getting that wee DM a wee while later just saying, sorry about that, I'll keep on that, and it's just like, thanks for not making a big deal of it in public, and thanks for taking the time out just to acknowledge it. We love our allies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. To me personally, like just little being able to accept corrections or correcting yourself means so much to me. Like that the little thing. Because to me, it feels like it kind of normalizes it to some extent. Like not normalizes obviously misgendering, but just helps normalize my gender identity.
Yeah.
I am rapidly switching between accents.
Yeah, it's interesting because you never do it when you're speaking to me.
And a secret trans fact for any of our cis allies, we do misgender ourselves sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've dead named myself and then gone, wait, who the f is that? Who am I talking about? How?
Yeah.
Why?
I'll be like, because I talk about myself in the third person a lot. And I'll be like, oh yeah, good job, dead name. And then I'll go, who the fuck am I talking to?
Yeah.
I feel you on the talking out loud. I live alone during a pandemic. I have to talk to myself or I will lose the plot.
I got a flatmate because I was not doing well. And I needed someone else in the house.
I got sea monkeys, if that counts.
Sea monkeys and the occasional voice chat where we all go to someone's Animal Crossing island and hang out.
Yeah, those Animal Crossing visits have kept me sane.
I love how we figured out how to make two characters kiss in Animal Crossing, though. That is very
We did. Actually, if you would like, if anyone would like a nice wholesome story, of community during the pandemic, my lovely gran that I mentioned earlier on the chat, it was her anniversary of passing away in January, unfortunately. And I was, as you can imagine, quite upset that I couldn't see my family. She's buried about an hour away, so obviously I couldn't travel outside the area, so I was quite gutted that I couldn't do anything, live alone. So the lovely Jessica organised a group of my friends to come to Animal Crossing and set off fireworks and sparklers at the little area I've made on my Animal Crossing island for my gran as a little celebration for her, and it was the highlight of my pandemic, I guess, to see people doing that for me. So if any of you need some hope and humanity, I hope that gives you some.
That's fantastic.
It's lovely.
That is lovely. And again, it goes back to kind of what we were saying about community and having people around you who love and care about you. I think that's one of the most important things if you're part of any minority, is knowing that there are people out there who love you.
Yeah.
Because the world, when you feel like a small fish on a big fucking hook, if anyone can guess what that's a quote from, you win the prize. I don't know what it is. when you feel like that, knowing that you have people around you is so important.
Yeah. Even the lovely Aye, if we will big up Aye for a wee moment. The first time I met him, and I have literally this quote seared in my brain. Aye, we were at Spoons. He bought me the halloumi fries, and I said, "How much are they? So I know I can pay you back." And he turned around and said, "They're £1,000, but you're worth it, Harley."
Aww.
That's so sweet.
And I have literally had that quote cemented into my brain ever since then, of just like, here's my internet pal meeting me for the first time and telling me I'm worth £1,000 halloumi fries.
Aye, and just for the record, I'm calling that in. Get us over 7k, Harley. Jesus.
I have, yeah, like, I've got kind of two stories. One is going to deal with domestic abuse and suicide. So if anyone needs to check out, there's your kind of content warning for that. And the other is gonna less deal with that. But my community of Torn and our various friends, my friend Torn, Mo, and Lane, and I've said this quite often to them, quite literally saved my life. After, love you too, Torn. After I broke up with my first ever partner, which was a very abusive relationship. Harley, thank you for the donation. They were the thing that kept me getting up in the morning. Because I was in a dark place with no friends, very little family by my side, at the age of like 15. And playing Minecraft with them gave me a reason to kind of get up in the morning. And then the other one is when we because obviously we're all an international group. So when we got back in contact due to the pandemic, it was being with them and my now partner Chorus that made me realize I wasn't happy in my life last year, which finally inspired me to come back to Glasgow and go to uni and start doing work with Aye and stuff, which has obviously inadvertently led me to being here. So thanks, Tom. I know you're in the chat, so thank you.
We've certainly got a good wee group here.
Do we have any questions from anyone who's viewing? I mean, just to like, whether it's to individuals here or just in general. I mean, we've kind of been, like, obviously we're more than happy to kind of talk amongst ourselves, but anyone in the chat want to ask any questions?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to jump off in a few minutes because my phone is about to die and I can only have either headphones or the charger plugged in. So if anyone's got a last question for me before I switch back just to the text chat, fire away.
How are the halloumi fries?
I am shaking my fist at Apple.
It's not even Apple. It's a Huawei. How I don't know how to pronounce it.
Huawei.
It's not Apple. That's the one. Yeah.
How were the fries?
They were brilliant. It was actually my very first time having halloumi fries, and up until not very long before eating them, I actually thought halloumi was a fish.
I get that. So did I.
I get that as well, actually. I understand the reasoning.
I'm really not portraying myself as an intellectual person here, just like, do I know geography? No. Do I know food? No. Do I know people's names? No.
American here, what are halloumi fries? Halloumi is a cheese that is from Cyprus. It's quite squeaky, but it's fried, and the halloumi fry bit is that they're essentially just, they're not like fries like you'd get at McDonald's, obviously, because they're cheese, but like they're just kind of rectangle cubes of squeaky cheese.
So,
Yeah, they've got like a high
so
melting point.
Harley, do you want to plug or push any social media or websites just before we release you?
Yeah, so if any of you want to follow me on Twitter, I tweet about LGBT and disability issues, and also absolute nonsense once it hits 3 a.m. So I will just put that into the chat. You can follow me there. If it'll send, thank you, Twitch. And I will just plug my blog as well, where I write up about the realistic living of being a queer disabled person. And I actually wrote a post lately about having a budget menu when you are a disabled person who's maybe not got the energy to cook these meals that are supposed to be cheap but take you about 3 hours to prep. And the lovely Jack Monroe shared it, and I got like almost 2,000 views on it, which was just unreal. So I will do a wee cheeky plug of that as well.
Fantastic. Thank you.
So feel free to have a read, and thank you for having me on. I am away to charge my phone.
And
try and get a bit of
some
rest.
rest.
we
will
do
do.
insist.
Thanks all.
Thank you for all the work you've done, Harley.
See you later, Harley. Catch up.
In related to that, completely unrelated to that, Torn completed the second Persona drawing, which is mine.
Oh yes. Go on. Where is it?
It's going in general.
double persona.
Now we both have personas.
Oh, that's adorable. I love that.
Yes, I have a long hair undercut, which is great, and Torn is pointing out in the Discord that they did it on the crow with feathers.
Oh, that's awesome.
But both of you, but Joy specifically, thank you for sticking around with us for so long as we have gone through like 19 different topics, and the feralness has just been rising to a point that now I seem to be a bit drained of energy.
Listen, this is just my ADHD. I'm ricocheting around happily like a pinball in a machine. I thrive on this when I'm able to. So.
Yeah, this is all good.
Yeah, we love having you here, both of you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'd respond, but I don't know what words are. No, it's fantastic having you both here. I'm kind of in two minds. We've still got a bit of the game to actually play, and I'm thinking it might be sensible, before I completely lose all of my motor function, that we actually just straight up complete the game.
No.
No, I mean there's
the fact that you're supposed to be losing the ability to play. That's part of the appeal.
Yeah, I feel like it'll get to a point where I won't actually be able to finish. Like I need to concentrate for the final boss. Like I almost want radio silence for the final boss, and I feel like
you're not getting it, right?
Yeah, I know that, but like.
All right, I think you should maybe head to the final boss then. We have another speaker on in an hour and 50 minutes.
I don't think we do actually. Wait, an hour and 50. Sorry. Yeah. Someone pulled out, as far as I'm aware. They had a family issue.
Yes. So our next speaker will be at 9 o'clock.
Groovy.
Which is in an hour and 50 minutes. I realised that the best thing about the Agony Endured timer is that it actually lets the chat keep synced with our timing.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, the sooner I kill this final boss, we could put on the Holo Twitch mod and just ruin my life.
That would be excellent.
Every time someone does Zap, they've got to donate like 40 quid.
Don't forget about bees and Spawn Pure Vessel. Although Spawn Pure Vessel might not be a problem for you anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Hollow Knight.
I've been really enjoying watching you play. It reminds me of Ori and the Blind Forest a lot, which I've been wanting to play it the whole time I've been watching the stream.
The goal was for I and I to become Hollow Knights by the end of this.
Yeah, I'm just.
We should have said. We should have said that like
No mind to
in the pre-discussions. That's a great quote.
We want to become hollow.
We will be the Hollow Knights by the end of it. I do desperately want to hear a compilation of Sky introducing the speakers and becoming more incoherent as time goes on.
Blind Panda Bear, do you like your coffee like you like your partners covered in bees? I just realised I went too far. No, go back.
Also, for reference, Dylan, I noticed you're back in the chat. Did you go to sleep and wake back up?
Oh, probably.
I mean, I think Dylan's extremely sensible, so chances are, yeah, he has done that.
Yeah. No, it's just hitting me that now we're getting to the stage where people who were with us at the start of the stream are starting to wake up and realise we're still here.
Now, I'm not saying that that'll give us a bit of second wind, but it will be quite nice.
Look at how much money we raised while you were asleep.
Yeah.
This is the Hollow Knight.
It's you.
Yes.
God, I love the Hollow Knight fight. Because I still can't beat the Radiants, so it's the only it's the only final boss fight I can do.
So
but it's
I suppose interesting kind of fact about.
Thank you, Harley's mum, for the £5 donation.
Oh, thanks very much, Harley's mum.
JPD MCP in the chat says, I'm off to work. Well done on you achieved not only tonight but also the last couple of weeks. I'm proud of you, Sky. I hope the last 5 hours go smoothly for you. For a reference, JPD_MCP is my roommate.
Oh, brilliant.
Who is currently at work. Which is why I am able to do this for a night. Thank you. Have a good day at work. Possibly see you tonight when you get back in.
What? Sorry. Fun question for y'all. What would you want your final boss to be? As in for my life?
Me.
Nah. Good question.
Thatcher.
No, that's not the final boss of my life, because that'll be the first boss in hell when I go there. Right, we are about to do the nonsense.
oh god.
Here we fucking go.
We fucking go.
We're gonna try and kill the Radiants, and then after that, who knows? If we get into Holo Twitch, then chaos will ensue. The Radiants.
I'm pretty sure Joy has been doing perpetual The final boss is just me. The only thing strong enough to kick my own ass is my immune system.
Hell yeah.
So this.
What is everyone's favorite video game?
Hollow Knight. And also Night in the Woods. Definitely Night in the Woods. It
Is that the game you were playing, Sky?
That's the game I was playing on stream, yeah.
It speaks to my soul on a fundamental level. And I don't kin anyone, but if I did kin someone, I would kin May Borowski.
That sounds like you kin someone.
I likes the goth crocodile.
Yeah.
Gothodile.
It's Gothodile, yeah.
Gothodile, yep. What about you, Joy? Favorite video game?
So I'm torn because I have my fixation games that I love. My Skyrim is basically a different game at this point. It has so many mods installed. And Dishonored is also one of my favorites. I like the original Dragon Age. I like Dragon Age 2. I wasn't a huge fan of the third one. But yeah, Skyrim, Dishonored, and the one I probably play the most at the moment is Frostpunk. It's a really good city builder survival, and my ADHD thrives on the micromanaging involved. So it gives me that serotonin rush from from being able to complete things. But yeah, Skyrim and Dishonored probably.
Wait. You understand Dragon Age?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was big in Dragon Age, and then the fandom got a little too toxic.
Agreed, that's why I stopped being in the fandom as well.
Yeah, But I still like the games. My favorite one is definitely the second one. I'm full Chaos Hawk the whole way.
Oh yeah.
Which
See,
surprised nobody.
I'm really
it's
surprised
just-
when people say that they like the second game. Why do you like the second game? I'm curious at this because
The writing is fabulous.
is it okay?
I like the found family dynamic.
Yeah.
I think it's slightly better in Dragon Age 2 than it is in Dragon Age 1. Plus, that final decision actually had me sitting there, actually thinking over, like, debating with myself
I paused the game
morals and
walked away.
ethics. Yeah, I have a video. I had an audio recording on my phone. It's like a 10-minute audio recording of me going, okay, but the mages do have a lot of good points, but they are doing, they are doing the exact thing that they're accused against. But the Templars, and it's like, it's just me talking to myself. So I just had the realization that again, hours ago, I had fan fiction read out in a very nice voice to 200 something people. And an international best-selling author who understood what I was talking about.
You keep putting that fanfiction down, and I'm telling you, it's good. If that is how you were writing then, I want to see how you're writing now.
I'm not necessarily putting it down anymore. I'm just having a realization of, like, this is my life.
Welcome to my life all the time. Which romance option would I pick for a Dragon Age? I usually go for Fenris or Isabella.
Oh, I like Isabella. I was Morrigan, Isabella, and Josephine.
That's good ones too.
I liked my Witch of the Wilds, and then Sexy Pirate, and then classic fantasy love story.
I mean, I tend to, when I play them, I go through all the romance options just to see what they are, but I do come out with my favorite ships on the other side. So that's, and also then because I am poly inclined, I tend to be like, well, I like this aspect and this aspect. If they could just all have a happy polycule, that would be fine. That would be my favorite choice to do that.
That would be the next great choice for Dragon Age 4.
It would. Oh, I'm just happy Sims finally has was it the eco one? They finally let you have like a free love option.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like a free, like I finally don't have to use mods to have my polycule. It's amazing. It's one of their better updates. It is a thing that your community has to, it's like they installed a voting system, so you have to vote for these things to pass, but free love is one of the options, and I'm like, every single time as soon as the game starts up, it's click, we're going for this one.
I forgot your shade, although, I'm way behind on the stream, so I see that you saw that, never mind.
Yeah, no, I went and got my shade back because I was a wee idiot. It's fine.
No, my
can't seem
internet.
Go on.
My internet is terrible here, so the stream is on a minute and a bit lag for me, as opposed to a few seconds.
Fallout New Vegas and Halo 3 ODST, by the way. Favorite games.
The trans options in The Sims was also good. That was a good update. And I was also really pleased when they finally updated their skin palettes to not just be 50 shades of white and then here's your 2 burn options. So that was a good. I think Sims is actually starting to get more progressive. I think.
Mm-hmm.
They are limited.
Yeah.
They are limited. Yeah.
Oh, has anyone played The Outer Worlds?
I want to.
It's phenomenal, but also I ask because I played it recently and I was shocked in a good way and very happy. One of the companions you can get is an ace lesbian.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yes.
And all of her character quests are about setting her up on a date with someone, and I was heartbroken because I was like, wait, what do you mean I can't romance her? What are you talking about? But basically, like initially, it was clear that she was lesbian, but then like without saying asexual, because it's about unions and space, and it's people don't say terms, but like it was like very much stated that, you know, this character was asexual and possibly sex repulsed, definitely like sex indifferent, I guess. And I kind of like freaked out because I identify with 5 million different things because I'm 2 genders at once. So I can have all the labels.
Gee, Lego, how come Mum lets you have 2 genders?
Stop hogging them all.
But
It's my turn to play with the gender.
one of the labels that I do occasionally use is ace lesbian, among other things. So it was really cool to see another character, like to see a character for the first time, and be like, wow, that's me. Like not me, but you know, and there's an option when Parvati is the character I'm talking about, when she comes out to you, there is an option where your character can say, oh, me too, and you can also come out as aromantic, and it's awesome. And I had to look it up after it happened to me in game to see if it was real, because I was freaking out. And somewhere on my Twitter account, there is a tweet that is just all caps, ace lesbian Parvati Holcomb, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark.
Completely off topic, you might be happy to know we've had, I think, 9 people join the main AyeforScotland Discord.
Groovy. Welcome to the squad. I promise I will be
Coherent.
making way more sense. Fuck, I forgot my fucking shade.
AyeforSquad.
Yeah.
Which I'm not a part of, I just like that they're getting support.
I mean, I'm AyeforSpec, but yes, AyeforSquad. But yes, The Outer Worlds is very good. And I mean, the final boss fight's a little disappointing, but I still love it to pieces. And it was kind of, I guess, the first Fallout type game that I've played, because I tried playing the original Fallout and I died immediately. And
Which is the way.
My laptop doesn't run the later Fallouts, but I was able to get Outer Worlds on my Switch, so I played it on there, and it was very fun. Also, someone brought up Stardew Valley earlier. I also love Stardew Valley. I only ever romanced Shane because I same had him.
I think,
One I've
yeah,
never played. Yeah.
there was actually a question if you'd played it, Joy.
Mothman plays it, and he plays it with some friends, but I've tried, and for whatever reason, it just doesn't hold my attention. I think I need some sort of panic for me to enjoy things. So unless there's something that's slightly out of control, I'm not really gonna get into it right away. Like, if it's almost like when things are too gentle, I don't focus on it.
You crave chaos.
It would should explain to you everything about my life that we've talked about.
I mean, it's made your house make a bit more sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's entirely valid.
I just like. I feel like there's a book series about your house desperately calling out to be wrote.
Probably. If anyone wants to take up that mantle, please feel free. I already have 4 different books I'm working on at the moment, so but it's probably. I've taken a lot of inspiration from the house and I have put them into things like Demon Rose fully made it into Hunger Pangs. I couldn't not immortalize the rose. So but yeah, the house is its own chaotic energy.
Torn, that's very gay.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at Immortalize because it's a book about vampires.
What was I gonna say?
My chat's frozen.
I had a question for. Oh yes, right on a question. So you have four kind of projects on the go, right, Joy?
Mm-hmm.
How do you manage that? Because I have like 4 projects and I can't even bring myself to start one.
So for me, this is how my brain works, is if I do something for too long, even if it's 15 minutes too long, I will lose all interest in it and I will not want to go back to it. So this is me pinballing between projects to keep my ADHD from getting bored, because if I get bored, it's like dying inside your own head, because it's like you're a shark. Sharks die when they stop moving. My ADHD is the exact same. So I bump between projects to keep myself from being bored. And it's not great. I mean, I do have workaholic tendencies, which the Tumblr following will tell everybody, because they're always telling me to stop working. But that's just how I do things. Last year I was working solely on the one book for so long, just trying to get through the crunch, and it killed my mental health because I wanted to think about other things, but I couldn't. So that's just the way I personally thrive, but it's not how I would necessarily recommend other people do it, unless that is also how their brain works.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because that is my brain likes to skip between things, and if I don't have that, then I'm going to fall into a depression, and I'm not going to create at all. So it's keeping my ADHD, the gremlin in my head, fed enough so that I'm interested, and it's difficult. But I do see people going, they're like, oh, I'm trying to do this, and this, and I can't seem to multitask. I'm going, well, don't try. You know, if you're struggling to do 4 things, try doing 2. If you're still struggling, just try to do the 1. If that's still a struggle, then there's editors you can reach out to for manuscript assessment, and you can walk through it to find out where you're being tripped up, and then that's also a service I don't think a lot of people know. Some editors will offer a manuscript assessment where they'll read it and then they'll go, these are your good points. Here's where you're tripping up. This may be what's causing you to stall on the project. And it's a really invaluable. I think more people should be able to just. They always think of editors as the end game of when they're finished drafting, but sometimes you just need to spitball at someone else who understands writing. And of course you can have your friends do that. You can have your beta readers do that. But for me, it's I'm obviously biased, being a former editor, but I also have fantastic editors who I work with, and they're very good at for me to go, this doesn't seem right. What am I missing? And then you have the fresh pair of eyes, and it's the people who, depending on the type of story you're telling. So in romance, there are certain beats you have to hit. So there's the character development, you have some sort of catastrophe, and then the resolution. In the simplest of terms. Sometimes you'll find that what is tripping you up is the characters aren't getting enough development, or your plot point actually belongs in another novel. You're just trying to insert all the clever ideas into the one thing. And it can be a really invaluable service to not even have someone edit it, but just read it and go, oh, this seems all good, but then this thing seems like it's tripping your narrative. But yeah, I love writing, but I can't read. Oh, that's sad. Anxiety is a major reason for why I see people telling me they don't publish things, and I'm here to tell you, there is someone out there who wants to read your work, whether you think it or not. I genuinely thought the only people that would read Hunger Pangs would be my patrons, and at this point, the amount that I have sold, if I'm able to recreate that, if I had an agent and if I was with a traditional publishing house, it would be insane numbers that would be coming up, and it's still insane numbers that are coming up. But I'm telling you, even though you think no one's going to want to read something, they are going to want to read it.
Yeah,
it's
I fully understand the anxiety point. You know, I have a problem with being in the same space as people who are absorbing my content or content I've worked on. I'm getting better at it, but it is like a very real thing, I think, that prevents me from ever fully completing projects. But I also deal with that whole, like, I can't see the forest for the trees. I can only see the, like, by the end of a project, I can't see the completed project. I'm just like, oh, that should have been, when doing, like, film and stuff, I'm like, that should have been edited better, or, there's a slight frame issue there.
But we're also our own worst critics. That's there's always things. I mean, people were saying to me, "How do you know when you're done editing something?" And I was literally signing the book, and I'm seeing things that I'm going, "I want to change that." And I'm like, "No, it's done. It's printed. You can't."
There's
you know,
there's an
you can't
old
change it.
saying. There's an old saying about film. It's ascribed to many directors. A film is never completed. It is only released.
Yes. Yeah. Which is
Which I think applies for pretty much anything creative. Yeah, I could tinker on everything I've ever worked on. I could still be tinkering on it to this day.
Yeah,
I think.
Which is the biggest thing for me. My editors just eventually they took the manuscript from me and they're like, "You're not allowed to keep tinkering because if you do that, you're never gonna finish it." And I'm a really bad perfectionist. It's part of my neurodivergence in that if something doesn't feel perfect, I can't let go of it and I can't stop, and it becomes a fixation, and it's not healthy. And it's really funny because my therapist is also ADHD, so she fully relates to this. We're very similar, and I'm telling her all these things, and I'm like, it's never good enough, and she's like, define good enough. You know, I'm going, it doesn't feel right, and it's like, what is your basis for that? Like, are good enough for other people, good enough for you, good enough for who you think you should be? It's, you know, it's going through your whole head and just trying to unravel the source of why it has to be so perfect. And then you look at things like crucifix nail nipples. This person fully thought they'd written a masterpiece. You know, and I'm going, why am I stressing out over?
Do you ever have? I quite have it quite literally with drawing. I never publish my art online because I don't feel like I'm at a level that I want to do it yet. But where I will start obsessively doing like tiny details, and they look really good when they're close up, and then I move back. I'm like, I have horribly over-designed this entire drawing because I've overcorrected.
Yeah. I did that with the entire plot of Hunger Pangs, and I'm still trying to fix some of it because I'm looking at the whole span of the series that's planned, and I'm going, oh, I need to be less complicated for some of this, and just take it back a step and look at the, you know, it almost feels like you're missing the forest for the trees sometimes, because you can get so into the detail of things, and it's details that no one else but you is going to notice.
I love your community. They are vibing with me hard, and this is great.
They're wonderful. They are. I'm truly honest when I say I think I have the best community on the internet. They are the most wonderful, supportive people that have come into. I still don't know why they're there. I'm incredibly grateful, and I'm trying every single day to be worth the positivity they put into my life. So thank you, everyone, and thank you for being such wonderful guests on iStream.
I
You're
am going to
wonderful people.
shamelessly say that we are 500 away from £7,000.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, that's very exciting.
That is very exciting. Just in case anyone wants to, you know, throw in a couple of donations. We have another just over 4 more hours left to go.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Oh, jeez. Oh, it's almost midnight here. Oh, jeez.
The sun has come back up in
Oh, dear.
Scotland.
That's never good.
Yeah,
You're seeing sunlight in Scotland. That's just even more cursed.
it's just the, you know, it's like that kind of hour where it's like, ah, shit. You know when you've stayed up all night and then you definitely see the new day starting and you're like, ah, fuck.
Yeah,
you hear birds calling, you know you fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
You pull
ah,
yourself out of whatever you were looking at and turn your head right, and you're like, when the fuck did that get there? That's me.
How's the weather here? It's thawing. We're no longer under a polar vortex. It's nice. We're actually we took Holly Mop, which is our dog for anyone new, and we took her for our first walk the other day, and she walked into a puddle, and it went up to her. It was over her chin. So the 6 feet of snow we've had is finally melted.
Like speakers are waking up, by the way. Like previous speakers are waking.
waking up,
Thanks.
checking the stream. Holy
Oh,
shit.
jeez.
That's.
Oh no, someone's gonna hear about the things that I've been talking about on stream.
No one mentioned anything that's been said in the past 5 hours. Okay, that's banned. That's off limits. We're not
They'll
allowed
just have to. They'll just have to find out when they rewatch it on YouTube, where all of our sins are going to be immortalized.
Yeah.
Yeah, jeez.
Oh god. Oh god.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Oh,
It doesn't feel like it's been 19 hours and 40 minutes. Like, I'm exhausted.
Speak for yourself, Sky.
Like, I'm exhausted. But I'm in a weird place from like, it doesn't feel like it's been 19 hours, but also the next 4 hours feel like the longest thing on the planet.
yeah.
You reach the stage of sleep deprivation where nothing seems real, which I think you actually reached that several hours ago, if I'm honest.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
100%.
Yeah, it didn't help. I tried my hardest. I was like, I'm gonna wake up at 10 o'clock, and then it'll be, you know, just fixing a couple of things before the stream starts, and then we'll be good to go. So naturally, I woke up at 7. So I've technically been awake for I don't know how many hours. Maths. We need a maths.
I woke up. You've been awake for just over 24 hours.
Oh, yippee.
I kind of had something similar where I'm like, I'm gonna wake up at 10:30. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna have a shower and a croissant for breakfast and a cup of tea.
Croissant?
Fuck yourself. And then I'm going to, you know, just have a nice, relaxed morning. And then I woke up every hour from like 4 a.m. Train.
Oh, sorry, that's me. Normally I'm farther up the hill, but I'm literally right by both the train tracks and the LRT tracks. So there's lots of moving.
I love the noise of trains, so I'm quite happy to hear it.
Oh, me too. I'm just usually not this close. It's
Um,
like right across the street from me right now.
So yeah, I woke up from like 4 a.m. up until 10 when I got out of bed because I was determined to get out of bed at 10:30. I woke up once every hour. And most of them were like concerned about the stream. And we've done it. We had a technical glitch 5 hours ago, but
Don't say we've done it. We've got hours left.
shut up.
I'm just saying.
Let me be peace. Let me be at peace for a minute.
Nah, I'm afraid not. I promise we won't say a word after the stream ends. We'll just both go to bed. Deal?
Oh, 100%. Well,
Like-
maybe a roundup. Thank you to the mods and speakers.
Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of goes without saying, but I mean, yeah, we need.
Oh yeah, the
guys.
moment we hang up, I feel like you and I aren't going to talk to each other for like 2-3 days.
God, I hope so. Nah, I'm joking.
Yeah, me too.
Actually, we're gonna be starting working on like a new YouTube video come like Sunday. In fact, it is Sunday.
Fuck off. Fuck off.
Technically,
Do you
that
wanna-
one's already written and recorded though.
I actually saw a question earlier in the chat about what we thought about Cyberpunk 2099. I'm gonna
77?
don't care. 2077. I'm gonna do a little shameless self promotion. If you go on the Sky Black YouTube channel, SKYEBLACKE, you have a video that was released, I think, a day before or the day of Cyberpunk 2077's release, rounding up my concerns about Cyberpunk 2077 from the perspective of transhumanism and the transgender experience.
That was a really good video.
Its audio mixed is horrible, but the rest of it's great.
I think I saw that. That was good. I'm not super interested in playing Cyberpunk 2077, and even if I was, I have nothing that can run it. Like, even if I had my desktop, it would probably destroy it. I don't know. I'm not a capital G gamer.
That's a good thing.
Thank
Oh,
God.
yes. Yes.
I'm going to be right back. I've just realized I ran out of water.
Hydrate.
Yeah, we need some hydrates. I say that as if that's the one thing limiting me to not drinking water, but yeah.
I do think, like, for the last hour maybe, we should see if it's possible if we can just throw both of our webcams on and just have a chat.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of gunning it to try and get a charm that I need. So
What charm are you looking for?
it's not a charm I'm looking for. I just want the unbreakable strength charm, so I can actually fight the.
So lots of geo.
Yeah, it's 15,000, which is nonsense. That's why I'm like these bosses have dropped quite a lot, and I've got greed on, so I'm just kind of.
Yeah. I was gonna say that you shouldn't need Unbreakable because you fight the Radiance in a dream state, but you do have to get the Hollow Knight to a certain amount of low health before then, and it could kill you. So never mind.
Yeah, if you die to the Hollow Knight once, it breaks it, which is kind of shit. But we'll get there. See if we can get some big names in the final hour. I'm not counting on any new speakers, to be honest.
Yeah.
Especially on a Sunday morning. It'd be great, and we'd be happy.
We would love if any of these big people showed up, but we fully understand that, you know, it's Sunday. And to be quite honest, who wants to come here to two Scottish guys who are 20 hours into a stream and losing their minds? Well, apparently 90, 94, 95 people, so actually that's the answer to that.
Yeah.
You've got the US Insomniacs now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm on the Insomniacs.
My people.
Yeah.
Nicholas Sturgeon, guest speaker 1.
I think she's a wee bit busy.
Just a little bit.
She does follow me on Twitter though. That's my
Wait,
one.
seriously?
Yeah. Not AyeforScotland.
Oh, you're a real person account.
Yeah, my human account.
Wait, who follows you? Sorry, I was zoned out.
Nicholas Sturgeon.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, well, I was followed by Hannah Rutherford first. So who did we have on?
I don't think I have.
What do you mean? Who did we have on?
Just as a recap for the
Oh,
people
right.
who are joining us. We spoke to. Wait, no, I can just open the list, the invite list. We spoke to Mel Maguire from the Equality Network. We spoke to Lady Phil, who is the co-founder and director of
UK Black Pride.
I'm getting there. UK Black Pride and Kaleidoscope UK. Then we had Scott Cuthbertson on from the Equality Network. Then we had Patrick Harvey, the co-leader of the Scottish Green Party. Then we had, and member of the Scottish Parliament. And then we had Hannah Rutherford, or Lamadia, a Twitch ambassador and content creator. Then we had Teddy Hope, who was the former SMP trans officer and PhD researcher in trans tele, I believe.
Yes, correct.
Then we had Liam Dryden, a ally and content creator. Then we had Sophie, Tristan, and Aaron from the End Conversion Therapy group. We had Jordan Daly from the Time for Exclusive Education. The actor David Paisley, Twitch streamer and internet sloth, and apparently persona giver Casey Explosion. Columnist Steph Patton, Member of Parliament Mary Black. We had Sarah Chung as well, who is the lesbian
campaign officer.
campaign officer
Getting
for Out for Indie. Then we had Blair Anderson, who is a Hollywood and council candidate for the Glasgow Greens. Fiona Robertson, the co-chair of the SNP Disabled Members Group. Myrtle Wadwa, who is a rape crisis person. What's the exact title?
Rape Crisis Centre Manager.
That was it. Kat Carey, the S&P Women's Officer for, I believe, Central Edinburgh.
Yep.
Rob McDowell, the Chair of Welfare Scotland. And then Joy, who is still here.
And
For
it was all
reasons
downhill.
for reasons I cannot fathom, has stayed for like
4 hours? 5? No, 9.
5 hours and
5 hours.
just listened to us.
Well, do you know,
prattle.
I've been listening to you since 8 a.m. my time, so I've been with you in spirit the whole time. But really, it's just because I had my migraine first thing in the morning, and now I'm wide awake. So that's why I'm here.
I was gonna say, why would you do that to yourself?
I mean, I was planning on waking up at 4 a.m., which is when the stream started on my time. But because of my whole situation right now, I felt, I don't know, I was like half awake, and I looked at my phone, and it was like 3:45, and I was like, you know what, no, I can't do this, I'll wait till I wake up properly. So I didn't get it until like 9, which would be 5 p.m. So 5 hours into the stream.
And
Yeah.
we still have, I think, 3 more speakers to go, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to wake ourselves up a wee bit. I think we're both due a wee bit of a stretch just to kind of kick us into the morning.
Agreed. And so far we have raised £6,571.18, plus anything from subscriptions and bits, and any other way that Twitch gives money.
I mean, obviously we're aiming for the 7k goal on the donation bar, but I wonder.
I would absolutely love if we hit the 7k goal.
Yeah, that'd be daft. Like,
in the next 4 hours, that would be fantastic.
yeah.
I feel like we're kind of getting to the point that if we hit the 7K goal, I'm wondering, like, should we should we even bother updating the goal, or just let the number continue to tick upwards?
Whatever. I mean, yeah, I'm cool. Obviously, there's a wee bit of there might be a wee bit of morning momentum is the only thing. So if we were to reach 7 soon, I'd be happy with kind of rolling it like on for another. Let's try and squeeze another 500 or whatever. It's all for a good cause anyway, so I don't think anyone would take any issue with us doing it.
No, I don't think they would. Hashtag Ayequality.
Oh yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
I'm still really proud of that little animation I made, or stole and put on the logo for the stream.
I've been impressed with all the graphics, and I was just that one day we were having that brief chat before the stream. It was by the time I'd finished saying yes, that's fine. You can totally use my avatar to make a thing. You're like, I already made it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Here's what
I've become incredibly proficient at making those announcement posts. The funny inside joke, which I'm going to now tell and spoil, would be every couple of days, me and I sitting in a Discord going, right, we've already said looking forward to 18 times. How else can we phrase this sentence?
Excited for.
Yeah, yeah, can't wait, excited for.
Thrilled to have on.
Everyone who's watching, enjoy watching probably the most disgusting thing in this game. Even worse than Flip
Yes!
Oh, her.
So we
That's okay.
yeah, she basically shits it though. So yeah, that was and there's a donation that immediately followed that. Perfectly.
Your
timed.
dad sells Avon. Donate or your dad sells Avon.
Your dad sells Avon. Thanks very much for the donation. All adding towards the goal for the good cause. We're nearly there. By the way, Sky, this stream could easily have been in jeopardy if I hadn't defeated those Pantheons. I feel like I'll be able to take on the Radiants in like 4 hours. I've not fought the Radiants in ages, but like, I think I'll be able to do that versus like, you know, trying to do the Pantheon. If I got stuck on a single Pantheon, I would have been like, oh no, this is gonna get bad. I should probably rest at that bench. Cool. All right. Ooh, sorry.
Shall we have a pre Radiance stretch and walkabout?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna need it. Do you want to go first, Sky, or?
No, you can go. It's quite alright.
Cool. Alrighty.
Pre-Radiance cat break. So this is normally where I have come out with, you know, the hard-hitting questions to bring us to continue us until the gameplay came back, but I'm kind of out.
I'm trying to think of things to talk about, but my brain just keeps circling back to technically I am also a writer because I write fan fiction. I just don't publish any of it because I don't think it's very good. So fun fact about me, I write Animorphs fan fiction for all 5 people in the chat who've read Animorphs. Because I don't know if it ever got over to the UK.
We did get it, yeah.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a series about the horrors of war, told from the lens of 6 kids that can turn into animals. And the fandom is very small because these books came out in the 90s and early 2000s. I think the last book came out sometime in 2001. It's that, and I have dreams of one day making a podcast about warrior cats. Not because I'm a furry, but because I read it when I was a kid. And I really want to do it, but executive dysfunction kicks my ass. Oh, I know about the Animorphs graphic novel. I have the Animorphs graphic novel. It's very good.
I suppose not to sound like conceited or anything, but do either of you have any questions for me while we're here and there is no game?
How did you get into working with film?
It was the only thing I thought I was good at. I used to do small videos online, and then I didn't really pay much attention in high school because I was in a bad place at the time and didn't really obviously care. And then I got to deciding where I was going to go to university the day of and realized I had done nothing to prepare myself for that, and at the last minute kind of went, well, the YouTube videos get some good traction and I understand film. So I applied for 5 filmmaking courses and got into one.
That's fair.
It kind of helped. I was studying advanced higher English and advanced higher history at the time.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I wanted to be an astrophysicist. That did not happen. I got halfway through grade 12. I had an epiphany, and I kept trying to force myself to do hard sciences and higher math. I would burn out, and I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to do music instead. And then I did music, and I did burn out, but not as much, and at least I like it.
I originally wanted to be a lawyer, but I can't argue without swearing gratuitously, so I'm like, I wouldn't hold up a court of law.
Oh, my mom's a lawyer, or she was, doing something else now. And my cousin's in law school.
I originally thought I would be a high school teacher, and then I did some extra work shadowing whilst at university, and the teacher literally, once the kids left the classroom, put her head down on the desk and started crying, and I went, nope, I'm out. And I didn't know what I was going to do after that. I just kind of fell into the next job that I had, which was editing, because my friend needed an assistant. And I went from doing coffee to doing edits, so that was cool.
Is this a bad time to mention my backup plan is to be a teacher?
It's for the people who can make it work, and for the people that have the right personality for it and everything else, I think it's such a good profession, and you make such a difference in the world when you can be that person. But I knew in that moment I couldn't be that person. I looked at that and I went, I don't think my mental health can survive this. And that was before I knew I had ADHD, because I wasn't diagnosed until I was 2 years ago. I wasn't diagnosed. So I was already dealing with that on top of it. But I have lots of friends who did go into teaching, and it has been, it's their absolute calling, and they love it.
Yeah, for me it's kind of like, if the film thing doesn't work out, I could always teach English.
Yeah, I mean, if I ever finish getting my degree, which honestly I've been going to post-secondary for 5 years and I haven't finished second year yet, so it's
We all go
very
at
much a will-see thing.
we all go at our own pace though, and our own paths.
But if I ever do get my degree, Don't ever want to teach large scale though. Stresses me out too much, so I just do like private lessons and stuff. My university had a program that specifically you could get your music degree and your ed degree simultaneously, and it was a 5-week program. So lots of friends that are music teachers and stuff. But I got all my teaching stress out when I was working summer camp, and my official title was the music administrative assistant, and I was the music librarian, and I did all that. But I also had to teach 12 and 13-year-olds an instrument and why they should do the music program instead of something else that they know. And I hated it, and they made me cry. So I was like, I'm never going to teach one of these kids again.
Yeah, like a lot of people I know who are musicians do say that like I want to teach, but I don't want to teach large groups.
Yeah, and also you have to be really, like, to be a band teacher, you have to understand at least the basics of playing like a stupid amount of instruments. And I do play a stupid amount of instruments, but I don't play them well enough. Like, technically I can play a bit, but I can't do an entire B flat scale and the basic.
I know a lot of musicians who can't read music, who just play it by ear and memory.
Yeah, it's interesting. There is kind of a divide in the community because, like, it's incredibly pretentious sounding, but I'm technically classically trained, and there's a difference between like classical training and like you can step up by ear, and also like the way that a lot of contemporary and jazz musicians learn music, which is just you learn it by ear. You learn how it sounds, whereas I started doing piano lessons so it's just I've always kind of known how to read music and that sort of stuff. I'm not very good at it for certain stuff, but I know basic music theory by heart. But it's very interesting. One of the things that I struggle with is improvisation, because I'm so used to just having explicit instructions telling me what to do, and it's something like improvisation and just general composition are things that I struggle with, whereas with people who didn't learn music in the same way, it's a lot easier for them because they learned by experimenting.
Yeah, I'm trained at a high school level. I used to do kind of music with the tutor, and he was, he taught me the basics and it was really fun. And then I went into academic music, and it just sucked the joy out of it for me. In the sense of like I was learning from academia, and I'm like, no, I don't care. This isn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
I kind of hate my academic courses, to be honest. Because I have to do oral skills, spelled AURAL, because it's ear, not speaking. I have to do oral skills, I have to do music theory, and I have to do music history. And the music theory is all advanced stuff that I don't need to know because I'm not a keyboard player. And ear training is, again, like it's all like advanced stuff that you don't technically need to know if you don't play certain instruments. It's just the things that you're supposed to know from the music degree. And then music is history, which again, various basics for it's all stepping stone. But I do enjoy the practical bits. Like I do concert band, to make it morale. I have private lessons, I do percussion ensemble. And all that. That's really good experience. Because it's actually like, it's, you know, this is the type of music I'm going to play.
Okay.
These types of things I'm going to do.
Welcome to folk just joining the stream, by the way.
Yes, welcome,
yes,
welcome.
Hello, sorry, I'm talking about music academia because I am a music student. But yeah, I have kind of persistent burnout because of that and a lot of other things. So I basically do a year of school, and then I try to tack on an extra semester, and I fall into deep depressive episodes. This happened to me twice. I think this will happen. But the thing is, you really need the degree to get. Okay, a music degree is not necessary to have a career in music because. Are you all right?
So
Yeah,
yeah,
how you doing, bud?
is anyone not? Is no one seeing the glitch that's happening on screen right now?
Oh yeah, they're just, yep.
They're like just stuck in a fallen animation.
Just
Oh
real
yeah,
quick.
you're actually Scottish, of course.
We both are.
Nothing else.
Oh yeah, sorry. I've been the only one talking for so long, and I am distinctly not Scottish.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Lego, you've suddenly become really quiet, and I don't know why.
Oh, sorry. I'm also talking a little bit quieter because it is after midnight where I am.
Ah, right, okay.
That's perfectly fair. If you need to head off, Lego, that's more than fine.
Oh, I should be okay for a little while longer. Probably not gonna make it till the end of the stream because that would be 4 a.m. and I need to be up at 9 to take my medication.
Yeah, be sensible.
Yeah.
Yeah, for anyone who is just joining us, we are 20 hours into a 24-hour game of Hollow Knight, and we are £500 away from our latest stretch goal of £7,000. We'd love for you to donate. The Ayequality Network is a LGBT network in Scotland, who do some great work for the advancement of LGBT equality and rights here, and we've had just a massive array of amazing speakers come on during the 20 hours, and we have a few more lined up before the end.
You can also still get a copy of Hunger Pangs and Tristan's short story as well, if that's an incentive for you to donate and help us get up to 7,000. You just have to take a screenshot of your donation so that I can see it, and either DM me on Tumblr or Twitter, and I will get those both sent out to you.
Yep. As long as your donation, I believe, is above £5.
Above £5, yes.
Thank you again for that.
Of course, I'm currently going through, trying to go through my DMs. It's going to take a while, but I think Mothman actually started mailing out the first batch of 50. So we'll see how quickly it takes us to do these things. But we're pretty quick once we get started. We learned the hard way with my Patreon, and we're like, oh, we have to distribute 400 copies. Oh, okay. What do we do? Quick, how do publishers do this?
So it's as Joy was saying, it's there. two books for £5 or more.
Indeedy.
Which is a pretty good deal, I think.
It's a great
Also
deal.
sending out I'm also sending out both versions because I don't want people who don't want sex to end up getting lumped with the other one. So if you do have a preference, let me know. I can send you, the one you prefer. Otherwise, you're just gonna get a file containing both. Because that was the only way we could think to do it. So we're trying to be inclusive of everyone with the giveaway. So if you wanted one version and you didn't tell me, that's fine. You're gonna get both anyway if you didn't state a preference.
All
Rogue,
I heard was a yeah in the background there.
Rogue, you donated $5, which for me that works because it's the cost of stuff over here. So you're good, you're fine. And some people were donating hundreds towards the books as well, so you're good. It's fine. You've been covered. The audiobook, yeah. The audiobook is a fun one. My voice actor, she's been wanting to work on this for the longest time, and she recently just got picked up by a small queer publisher, so now she has more work than she can handle, so it's taking her slightly longer to start doing things, but we're trying to figure out how to do both versions of the book and have it still be cost effective, because the cost of creating an audiobook is so much more than just creating an ebook. Even if I include the hundreds of hours of editing that was put into it, it's still huge. But yeah, we're trying to figure it out because people have been so sweet and so supportive with wanting both versions. Oh, did they send you two, Randa? It's funny because people have been getting their paperbacks before me. So a lot of you have already got your paperbacks and I'm still waiting for mine.
Tilly's and that is the Radiance, which I believe is the final boss of the game.
Yep. And he's the biggest bastard going.
I haven't been able to beat the Radiance yet. It's a pain in the ass.
I've been able to do it once, it's just takes its time. Sometimes you get really good, kinda like, see, I always get caught out by that. Ah, come on, yeah, bastard you. Ayequality321, thank you very much for the follow, I appreciate it. We are getting, so I mean, like at this point, Hollow Knight's kind of a walk in the park. Like I could just kill the Hollow Knight and be done with the game, but I think we are wanting the kind of as good an ending as we can get. So.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
I don't really see the point in coming this far and then kind of taking the cheap way out. So. And if that means the stream needs to be 27 hours... No, I'm joking.
You will not keep me here shackled above my intended time.
You'll be mid-move and it'll be like, oh, no, 24 hours off.
Yeah, gone. Bye. Oh man, I'm so excited for my bed. I'm just gonna sleep.
That reminds me, do you remember when I did a Pokemon Nuzlocke? And I got killed on like the second stream. I'm like, well, I guess it's over. Bye. And it just ended the stream.
Yeah, right there.
Like no goodbye. No, I'll be streaming again at some point. It was like, well, I lost. Bye.
And it doesn't help that this guy's just an arse.
Yeah.
That and I find that when you get hit by him, he always hits you into his other attack. Like, I mean, what the hell am I supposed to do to escape that? Come on.
I do occasionally talk about Pokemon Tundra. I'm I'm me on here. I'm Sky Black on here. Sky_Black. Black Sky on Twitter or Sky Black on YouTube. My username has a difficult issue. And it was one I did not think of until
Thanks, Reggie.
I looked it up. So how do I phrase this? There is an adult film star called Sky Blue.
Oh
Who-
no.
Oh,
who has
no.
appeared on the adult film series Blacked.
Oh no!
So I'm not that one.
Oh man!
But it's
That's-
too late to change it all now.
Yeah, it's unlucky. You're just gonna have to become really popular. It's the only way to fix it.
Yeah, basically. I have to become really popular and then beat them in the search engine.
So yeah, actually, if loads of people go and subscribe and watch your video, then that'll save you. Sky Black.
Sky Black
OnlyFans.
only fans never.
Boo, we want feet pics.
No. Oh, we're just £8 off 6,600.
Damn. What the
I can
hell,
hear
man?
I can hear the other people in this apartment block waking up.
Probably going, what's that fucking prick been doing all night?
They haven't shut up in hours.
Okay, we're on to next phase, baby.
Just who, out of curiosity, who reblogged my Mark the Electrician post? Because it's now trending in my activity feed and wrecking all my notes. Oh, I see. Everyone's finding the house that Cthulhu built at. Okay. Okay. Oh,
Ah, yes, your cursed house.
my cursed house is now trending on my activity feed again, so that's nice.
See, the only thing close to a cursed house I've ever had was, and it's like a slightly broken apartment in which every time something broke, which was about 2 times a month, we'd get an engineer out and they would, you know, do something like pull up the floor or check the wiring, and every time they would go, I don't know why the person before me's done this. They always said the same thing, which is like, I don't know why they've done this.
Oh
And I'm like, yeah, me neither, buddy. That's why you're here.
We hear a lot too. It's just like, oh, why would someone do this? And we're like, we don't know, just fix it.
Yes, please give us power back.
Yeah, the house that I live in right now is not as much of a nightmare house as your house, Joy, but it is still pre-war, which means that there are fun things. There's a light switch in the kitchen, which there are 2 light fixtures in the kitchen. One of them is turned on by one switch. One of them is turned on by the other switch. But that other switch also has to be flipped up for the microwave to work, for example. And
Oh. Are we done?
yes.
Oh,
Hey, we did it.
Yay!
We did 112% in 20 hours, which is class.
Yay.
oh, awesome.
All right, now speed run it in 4.
Well, how about we have a wee look at the Holo Twitch mod and just see how... I mean, I'll be even grumpier because it'll be frustrating as hell. But hey, we did it. We've beat the challenge that we were trying to do.
Let's have a wee break, I think, before the mod.
Yeah, I'll need to install the mod anyway, so
We can just sit back and relax for a little bit. Maybe I can go and get some kind of breakfast.
Well, Jessica's very kindly left me a half-eaten bag of pretzels, so I might.
I can go with my half-eaten bag of onion rings.
And the shades can finally rest in peace.
Which is apparently the plot of this game.
Yeah, you would know all the lore if you'd been paying attention to me streaming, but you didn't.
No, I was talking to people.
Instead, you were listening to all the fantastic speakers. So yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
Just this once. A game by Team Cherry.
Which I find it really funny. I gave my Team Cherry, and it's just like it's literally about 3 people, like that. I'm surprised it's like. I imagine they'll probably include in the credits like licensing and stuff, but there's like literally about 3 or 4 people who worked on it. But yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Now, the really funny thing, for those of you who don't know what I mean when I say Hollow Twitch, we're going to be playing Hollow Knight again, but this time you'll be able to make my life miserable, because you'll be able to put in commands in the chat and make my life miserable. They'll actually influence the game as I play it. I don't think I'll get very far, but I think it'll be quite interesting. And it's a wee bit of fun.
Just to let you know, Tundra, I did have actual food. I just didn't finish the onion rings.
Yeah. You know what? I'm actually really annoyed at Asda. I've been trying to dig my way into this protein mix for like the better part of 6 hours now, and the pull tab has completely torn off the back. So I'm a bit disappointed.
Could you maybe get scissors?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've been wanting to keep pace. Oh man, I can't wait until Silk Song's released. 24-hour stream of Silk Song when? That's a joke. Silk Song's the next game coming out, for those who don't know. But yeah.
Stretch and hydrate.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Does that mean we can finish early?
Nope.
Yeah, I was joking.
Not allowed.
I would still love it if we could reach £7,000.
Oh, we definitely can.
That would make my day.
Make the month, to be honest. Today's the last day of the month.
It
would literally make the month.
I have been working on this since the 5th of February to try and get this stream up and running.
Well done on achieving this great feat. You persevered and you triumphed. We hope you enjoyed yourself in the world of Hollow Knight. We'll meet again soon on the road ahead. Yeehaw!
Press any button to continue.
Percentage 112%. In-game time 19 hours.
19 hours and 49 minutes. I'm gonna check speedrun. I'm gonna check speedrun.net.
The world record is like 3 hours. So we are so ridiculous.
But is the world record glitchless? That's an important.
I believe so. I think, and that's 112.
You would be in 28th place out of 28 people.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no way there's no way I would rank anywhere on that, because I used no speedrunning techniques throughout any of that. But yeah, damn. Okay.
Oh yeah.
What's up, Sky?
Just woo.
Right, I'm gonna go and exit out the game and install that mod, and then we can run riot and have a laugh.
Yeah. Do you want something else on? What are you going to put on the screen?
Oh yeah, good point. I mean, I can just keep this up. It'll just be.
Yeah, I suppose.
Do
Let
you
me just-
still have that collage of the beans when they were kittens? I know it's technically a piss break screen, but
Unfortunately not. No, that was on OBS. We've kind of shifted over to Streamlabs because it's infinitely better. And I don't think we've had any serious technical glitch. I mean, last time the stream actually straight up like stopped for a solid period because OBS crashed. Which I'm glad it hasn't now.
To everyone who has been riding through this with us in the chat for any significant time, and to our speakers, please take some time to stretch and hydrate, and not look at the screen for a few minutes.
Oh yeah, like I mean, I'm gonna go and grab. I've seen there's a mod for Hollow Knight where you can. It's called Hollow
Oh,
Point.
we're over 6,600.
Oh, yeah, beauty. So less than 400 to go. Cool. So yeah, there's that, and then there's a couple of mods. One is called Hollow Point, which would give the knight a gun. I don't think we need to do that though. Cool. I am going to now reboot up Hollow Knight because I think we're good to go. But I will probably go and...
Stretch.
Yeah, I'll stretch when you're back sitting. I'll need to go and refill my water anyway.
Okay, I'm back.
You know what? I'm actually, like, not to be... Not to kind of blow my own trumpet. I have not drank a single can of Iron Brew this stream. I have purely been drinking water. Which is cool for me.
Meanwhile, I'm completely reliant on it.
Cool, so you'll notice a kind of wee loading bar on screen. That just means that the mod's properly kind of installed. That's the mod loading bar as opposed to anything else. I feel like we need to tie the amount of torture, and thanks very much to Rachel for donating. Thanks very much. I suppose it might be worth a test. I promise I'll pause it once we're in. But yeah, let's go again. Come on, we can do it. We can beat this game once again in another 20 hours time. Yeehaw.
How far do you think you could get in 4 hours?
With this mod or without this mod?
With this mod.
With this mod, I will get nowhere. I will do nothing, and it's too... Nah, it's just impossible. And Lego, are you still kicking about?
yes, I am. Sorry, I'm bleh, but I'm
Well,
still here.
do you want
for
to-
for a little bit at least?
Do you want to give the Hollow Twitch mod a wee test? You can be our trial. I've just realised I don't have double jump. I don't have it. It's so weird going from like the end of the game to the start. Oh god. Okay, so as you'll see there, electricity has spawned, as have bees, and it's all entirely controlled by people who are watching. If you want, you need to insert a command. There's bees, there's heal, there's like zap, there's like, you can make my character float. You can basically mess about with the game in its entirety. You know, let's try and see if we can get to the kind of first area. You know, and we'll kind of go from there. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of commands you can use. Oh, someone has made me float, and oh god, someone's also spawned the hardest boss in the game.
That was me.
Yeah.
Welcome to hell.
Oh yeah, this is absolute like nightmare like street.
What is the mod called?
It's called Hollow Twitch, because it allows Twitch chat to control Hollow Knight, and it'll take forever for.
I know.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, I was gonna say I know that there's the commands are listed. I think in the Twitch channel of your server ad, but I don't know if there's a place where they're on the internet.
There is somewhere on the internet that'll have it all, but I'm hesitant to like. There's no point in sharing that list. I think it'll just be if someone's able to find it, they can experiment, and then the majority of folk in the stream will just like copy the commands essentially.
Group learning.
For God's sake.
Hold on. How you doing, Joey?
Good. I am going through my DMs and getting all those emails primed. So making the most of my insomnia.
Hey Steph, how you doing? We did it. We did 112. And I am now actually going to pause the game. I need to refill up my water, and I need to post that we have actually completed the challenge that we meant to do in record time, which is incredible. And
Joy,
sorry, go on, Skip.
sorry. Joy, do you want to explain the promotion again, just for
Sure.
anyone who's joining us?
Yeah, hello, good morning to everyone coming in. My name's Joy, I am an author, and if you've heard of my work Hunger Pangs, which you probably have if you're coming from Tumblr, I'm doing a giveaway along with a fellow author here called Tristan. If you do a donation of a minimum of £5, $5 is also okay, and send me a screenshot and then your email either on my Twitter or my Tumblr, I will get those emailed out to you. And yes, my throat's doing fine, thank you.
This is the most cursed playthrough. This stupid thing. I don't even know what this is.
Yeah, it's a great chance to get some more books in your life as well, and to help out a great cause.
No, get away with Zap. I hate Zap. Zap's the worst one. Right, I am gonna quickly go and refill my water and post that we have completed the challenge, which was pretty cool. Alrighty, I'll be back shortly.
Joy is very much living up to her name, says Rocket Plane.
Oh, thank you.
Alright, so we should have another speaker coming in about half an hour. A Scottish composer, who is coming on to talk about their experience as a non-binary person, especially in lockdown, which I think will be very interesting.
Yeah. No, it's really cool.
Which, yeah, we are very much looking forward to. And after that, we have, I believe, 2 more speakers. One from the Equality Network and one from the Green Party. And then I will collapse in our beds and not be heard of for 2 days. And sleep. Do you guys remember what sleep feels like?
Yes, but I'm getting the feeling that you don't.
Nah. I remember when I was a teenager and I could do this all the time. 24 hours was like, and now I'm like, nah. My body kind of, I went loopy about 15 hours in, and then kind of came back at 18 hours, and I'm slipping away again.
Sleep deprivation's a hell of a drug.
Oh yeah.
Speaking from experience.
If I have been, I am fully expecting that I have just been havering shite for the past like 10 hours. And I'll wake up tomorrow and be like, what the fuck was I talking about?
Usually me
Oh,
after
I-
a shit post goes viral.
Sure, you'll be a good metric. Have I been havering shite for the past 5 or something hours? You've been here the whole
It's been
time.
fun. It's been the good havering. It's the kind you get when you're out with your mates and you've not had seen them for ages. It's
Fantastic.
It's
I'm
the
sure
banter.
I'm sure I had some great points in there somewhere as well.
You did.
Howdy.
Howdy.
I am back.
Howdy, howdy.
Okay, let's roll.
Hi, we're just gearing up for our next speaker in 20 minutes as well.
Wonderful. Looking forward to it.
As am I. It's been lovely having everyone here as well.
Oh God, no.
It's great because we get like foreshadowing as to what happens because we hear I complaining and then
Yeah.
like 2 seconds later lightning appears on the screen.
Thanks for the welcome back, Tundra. Appreciate it. Oh no! It's amazing what you can do in this game. It's funny because like chat can actually make it super easy for me or ridiculously hard.
Chat, don't use sleep. That's just insulting.
Oh no, someone used float. Float means I can't. Oh, that's just that. Oh, I'm getting destroyed.
Yeah, float means you're just kind of vibing.
Yeah.
Float the air.
Unfortunately, I think with float I can't even I can't aim down and I can't drop and I can't even go up. It'd be different if float meant that I could actually go left, right, up and down.
Yeah, float's more like just suspending you in the air.
Spikes can go away. Here we go again.
Dirtmouth. Me after 2 pints.
Yeah.
I was watching someone do a version of this mob with Skyrim, and Bethesda
wow.
games are chaotic at the best of times.
Could this chat control Skyrim?
They could. The chat were controlling. They were spawning horses. They were spawning multiple apples and health potions and all sorts of other things. So there was like, I think at one point the game crashed because there was like 20 dragons spawned.
Oh god.
So if you ever want to do true chaos, try doing it with Skyrim.
I mean,
There's also a mod, a similar mod for Grand Theft Auto 5.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't Grand Theft Auto 5 just like nuts anyway? Like
Yeah,
modders
it's
just go and
pretty-
like have planes like raining from the sky and stuff.
It's pretty crazy at this point.
See, I could never get into GTA 5 online. Just didn't interest me. Oh, spikes, go away. Right, jumped in here. Oh. What is going on? Come on. I have no idea what someone's just done.
I bet you're floating. You're floating at the top of the screen.
Yeah, I shouldn't be. There we go. Jesus.
Ah.
Yeah, I remember, folks, you can also do things like invert, I believe, is one.
Oh, invert's a fun one.
Is it invert, or is it
I think
something
it's
else?
something like that. It's invert or upside down.
You can do both.
I think
Not
nausea
at the
is
same
one as
time.
well. Nausea's a terrible one.
Oh yeah, nausea is a terrible one.
Oh. Ah man. Sorry if anyone's been bevying.
Immediately as you say that. Oh, for the cam effect ones, you do have to put exclamation point cam effect and then the effect.
Ah,
Just
okay.
a heads up to people in chat.
Oh, thanks for guiding them on how
It's
to
not
ruin my
just-
life.
It's not just exclamation point invert, it is exclamation point cam effect space invert. But you cannot do multiple cam effects at the same time. I won't let you.
Okay, this is the worst cam effect in the world. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. I'll just play it as I would normally and try and. Oh god, I'm gonna die, haven't I?
Oh, 100%. Bees! Bees!
Please.
I can't see the bees.
Bees, worms. Everything.
I don't think I've even got enough money to actually pay this.
I love seeing people in the chat who are like trying to undo other people's effects.
Yeah. Yeah. What we find is that this mod always puts people into two camps. The evil people who want to see me suffer, and the nice people who are lovely and should be cherished and looked after. And that's oh god. It's interesting actually when the camera's inverted. Sorry, when certain commands are entered, I lose control of my I can't attack. It's really weird.
Interesting.
Shouldn't have told anyone that, but there you go. Oh,
I just remember, I think it was the last time you used this mod, but I was trying to set the text to the Navy SEAL copy pasta, and I think that was what made the game crash.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's been a couple of times where it's like folk have sped my character up, so they've made me so fast that basically areas wouldn't be able to load in time, and my character was already in them, so the game was just like, well, no.
And then you ended up under the floor at one point.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh yeah, it was No! Right. Any sort of float is banned, any spikes are banned. We should just start banning all these commands. What just happened? Oh man. No! Who made me float? Now I can't do it. Oh god. I mean, it's great that I'm floating above the... Oh, fucking bees. Well done, you just decided to pick the hardest mod and the most frustrating mod for you, who is sleep deprived, to try and enjoy. We should tie commands to donating. Sky, what do you think?
I wish we could.
It's funny how he opened that area just by dying near it. Oh no. You know there's a speedrunning challenge which is like try and complete Hollow Knight on as few a percentage as possible as a speedrun. And it means like you do tons of like weird stuff like skip like you skip this boss that I'm trying to fight. Also I cannot see fucking anything. I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah, there is a way to skip the false knight, because the back gate of the area where you fight him, if you hit the zone right above the back gate, it will eventually break and you can sneak out.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you just choke out the city.
It's just interesting how it's like it's quite an interesting thing to try and experiment with, like how do as little as possible in the game to complete the game. I remember Fallout New Vegas was kind of like that. Probably not to the same extent. But...
Yes, man, percent.
Oh no. What?
Yes, man, percent is
Yeah.
very much do as little as possible to beat the game.
Yeah. Ah, shit.
Harley wants you to know in their haste to make I float, he froze his laptop.
Ah. Well, that's what you get now, I'm kidding. Hopefully your laptop's alright.
Oh, I was wondering where you were, because again, I'm watching the stream on extreme lag, but it looked like you were in a very dark tunnel, and I was like, surely he's not at the resting grounds already.
Nah,
That
someone was
doesn't make
just,
sense.
oh god.
Question for the guests: what are your favorite colors and color combinations?
Mm.
Ooh.
Joy, do you want to go first on that? Lego, and then I'll answer, and then I can answer.
I think everyone from my Tumblr knows I am completely tacky. My kitchen is currently being painted pink and blue. So it's a very cotton candy colored pink and a very kind of powdery blue, which is I really like vibrant things that contrast.
That feels very like 1950s aesthetic a bit.
The aesthetic I was kind of going for was goth meets like the inside interior of a Fallout house.
I love
Okay.
It seemed on brand, and it goes with all the other crap that I have around the house because I have a lot of other really kind of gothic decor that people have sent me. I have a bunch of skeletons and things everywhere.
Again, I'm starting to figure out what's up with your house. Like, the more you tell me, the
yeah,
more
we
it
didn't-
makes sense.
Very
We
Moon's Haunted vibes.
We didn't even talk about my collection of erotic skeletons, but yeah, that can be another stream.
Wait, what?
7,000 for the erotic skeleton story.
Yeah, the internet started
Oh,
sending
no.
me it's a whole thing. Like you can actually see them on Amazon. It's a whole collection of erotically placed skeletons, and it's skeletons just railing some very well endowed young ladies. And just in general, just I have a lot of skeletons. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I was trying to count them all, but I can't focus enough to get past 10, so there's more than 10.
10
There's
plus
also the
erotic
5
skeletons.
There's also the giant 5-foot skeleton in the basement that is not real, I should hasten to add. He is plastic, but he does live down there. We put him out last year, I should say, for Halloween with a mask on holding a bowl of candy. So he's finally pulling his weight.
I'm jealous of all the people that have the 12-foot tall Home Depot skeleton.
Oh, I wanted to justify that so badly. Oh.
This is a catastrophe. Hate this game. Oh man. Folk joining the stream must be like, what is going on?
This is actually how we see the game now.
Yeah, one thing that's really annoying, right, and I'm not sure if you've noticed it, but there's like, I feel like I've been upside down for an annoyingly silly amount of time.
Agreed, yeah.
Oh, color question. My favorite color is purple, and I like purple and green together.
Purple and green. Black.
It was
That's not a colour, that's a shade.
You're a shade.
actually technically black is all of the colors. No. Black is the absence of color. White is all the colors at once. I'm stupid. Don't listen to me.
Okay. Favorite color combo? Oh well, I mean, if I'm being on brand, then it's saltire blue and saltire white. If it's in a personal capacity, then I kind of like, I don't know, I like foresty colours really. So anything that's like a kind of nice pine colour, like green pine colour, and then I don't know, just anything else that's foresty, I suppose. I don't want to say brown, but like, yeah, I like forests. Protect our forests.
Oh, we have Lorna Slater from the Scottish Greens coming on later.
We do. At 11. Literally the final hour of the stream. Oh, I'm not sure if any of you saw the weird like kind of.
We're back.
I'm not sure if it. Oh no. Oh no. What's going on? Oh no. Okay, the boss is glitching and it's like all the animations are like moving. like it's just like, what is up?
Hello, Scott. Welcome back. We are
getting there.
We're getting there. We are trying to see if we can push the donation up to 7,000. But like
one more
I
stretch goal.
said,
One more stretch goal.
Obviously, all the subs and bits and cheers and stuff will be going towards this as well.
Oh, can someone please turn off the invert? I don't mind nausea and I don't mind it flipped, but can we pick one, please? Because that just makes you ill. Someone's messed with my gravity as well, so I can't even. Oh, disaster for Scotland, man.
That's you.
Yeah. And because the gravity is so high, I can't actually jump into the next section. So I mean, like, to be honest, I feel like absolutely everything in this game should have like a 5-second, like 5-second effect. Like, you know, the stuff that
A cooldown.
Well, no, I mean,
well.
the cooldown. Yeah, the cooldown would be nice, but like just a 5-second kind of like effect, so it's not okay. This is how you're playing now. It's like more, it's more silly shit to kind of throw you off. Oh,
Yeah. Our next speaker will be joining us in 5 minutes.
Groovy.
Yeah, Lego and Joy, you are more than welcome to stay if you want to, but don't feel obligated to.
I may have to bow it soon. My dog is glaring at me, so she doesn't like that the Mothman's gone to bed and I haven't. So
That's no problem at all, Joy. Thanks so much for staying for so long.
Yeah, thank you, Joy.
And that is an excellent segue. I also have to go. Someone told me I have to turn my electronics off now. So.
Thank you for being here, Lego.
Forcibly. Yeah, it was. Thank you for having me. It was good to be here.
It's been a blast. We'll let you know how it goes with a kind of final tally at the end. However, I'm gonna have one of my flapjacks. I'm gonna have another flapjack.
Yeah, it was good to hang out. And I realized I talked about 5 million different things. But,
that's what we were after.
Yeah.
And I will drop my social medias in chat, and then I'm going to bed. So everyone have a good night/morning, and I hope the rest of the stream goes well. Bye-bye.
Bye, Lego.
Brilliant.
Bye,
Thanks
Lego.
very much, Lego. What is this game?
This game is what we've spent the past 21 hours on.
Yep.
Um.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Yeah. If we're ready to bring in our next speaker, then I can let the mod team know.
Yeah, that's boogie. There is actually there is confirmation on Twitter that we did do our 112%. I got the achievement for it, the Steam achievement for it, for the first time ever. So
Yeah.
right, I'm happy. I'm gonna try and kill this boss, and if god. See, I was doing well, and then someone changed the camera effect back, and is now turned on zap, which will kill me. Great. Sake. You alright, Sky?
Yeah. I'm just 3 more hours. We're getting there. We're almost there.
We are.
Cry havoc and let loose the dogs of war. I should have said that when you turned the mod on, to be honest.
To be
Hello.
honest, it should just be cry.
Hello?
Hi. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, yes. Hey, everyone. I'm Lewis. I'm here on the stream. Joining you guys. I was saying that I caught just as you beat the game, like, as I woke up and joined the stream, was just as you guys finished the first playthrough. I was like, the finale. Perfect.
Brilliant.
It has been hell. But it's been very good hell with a lot of very positive speakers and a lot of community love.
Right now, we're just kind of having a play about with one of the mods you can get for this game where everyone in chat is making my life hell.
It looks absolutely crazy. I mean, I've kind of had it on like a screen to the side just as I set up to join, and like every time I look over, it's just nuts.
So would you like to kind of tell us a bit more about yourself, Lewis?
Yeah, of course. So I'm a soundtrack composer based in Glasgow. So I usually write for films, TV sketches, and I also do a lot of composing for Dungeons and Dragons. I do like background ambient music, which is always good fun. And then over lockdown, I've started performing as a synth pop artist and doing some more songy songs rather than doing like orchestral scores, which has been a lot of fun. So I kind of live a double life between a really camp queer aesthetic and then all the proper music stuff of the orchestra, swapping between those two. I guess that's the rundown.
You recently released Super Ego, am I right?
Yes, yeah, that came out last week. It's a kind of non-binary supervillain who's very braggadocious, and there was a video to go with it. There was a lot of fun that I just filmed in my living room. It's been fun doing a kind of homemade aesthetic.
Our chat has already got a question for you, which was, what was your first D&D character?
My first D&D character was they were a halfling bard called Rudolph Wazowski. And they spoke like this, I seem to remember. It was a little time ago, but he was he was some kind of cheap Brooklyn imitation.
So now, to my knowledge, full disclosure, Lewis and I went to university together. A
long time ago now.
many moons ago, yes. We worked on a few films together, actually. But recently, you came out as non-binary, correct?
Yes.
You joined the squad.
Yeah, NBs Unite. No, I did. I came out almost, it's coming up a year ago. So just as we were going into lockdown, I'd been doing a genders module as part of my master's. And like I went along because I've always been interested in gender identity and was just kind of chatting what it's about. But I don't think I'd really considered a lot about it for myself, living as a cis man for 21 years. And then, I don't know, I finished this module, we went into lockdown, and I wrote the final essay and made peace with a lot of things, and I was like, oh, that was good. That was a good essay about how you don't need gender as part of your identity and that you can be non-binary. And then 2 weeks went on and I was like, yeah, that's not for me. And then I started having like a whole load of seriously wacky dreams about falling towers, and like it was a very strange experience. I felt like I had an out-of-body voice telling me that it said the Empire will be different after I woke up from a crazy dream. And I was like, you know, I think I might be wrong. I think I might be non-binary. And then I came out and I've felt great ever since. And it's been a crazy year.
That's fantastic. That's definitely the most off-the-wall coming out story I've ever heard.
Yeah, sorry. I realized I probably should have prefaced that with that it's quite odd. I do realize that now. but no, I think it it's been a great year of self-discovery for myself.
I just started noticing your name appearing in the likes of ContraPoints posts and stuff, and being like, hello.
Yeah, I've joined. I've entered the NB hood. Is that what you call it? I don't know what the.
I have no idea what we call it. I'm when it comes to NB people, I'm old. I'm like I've been out since I was 14 to my friends, and then publicly since I was about 18. So
you're a veteran.
I have no idea what the kids are calling it these days. We're also joined here by Joy Demora, who is a author.
Hey Joy.
Joy, do you maybe you might have spoke about it earlier, but want to talk about your coming out experience as I believe bi?
Yep. It is. I tend to use queer more often because that tends to encapsulate all those things I don't really understand. But the main one I would use would be bisexual if I was told to pick a label, which I hate doing because I'm bisexual. So
well, you don't have to pick a label here. You can be whatever you want to be.
Yeah, queer or bisexual works for me. My coming out was I kind of realized it was funny because I didn't really realize it until I was actually married to my partner, and he was just kind of we were having a moment where I was realizing that my feelings of internalized, oh, I'm obviously not as good as these other women because I don't look like them, was actually me experiencing attraction and not just I'm not as good as these people. And it was actually my my partner who helped me was just kind of like, do you think you might be bi? And I was like, doesn't everyone feel this way? And it was this moment of, no, not everyone feels that way about, you know, the same sex or the opposite sex. And for me, it was just kind of a moment of, oh, huh, cool. So I came to it later in life because it was funny because I was always the token straight friend, I thought, in my friend group. No. I was like, oh, I'm always hanging out with all the, you know, the queer kids, the theater kids, and everything else. And I was the token straight girl. No. So, but my actual coming out was, it was very. I didn't really come out really. It was more when I started getting into publishing and doing my book stuff that people started going, why are you writing queer stuff? And it was. Basically, I was able to just very quietly be like, because it's relevant to me, you know?
Yeah.
And it's been slightly more funny with my parents because they found my work.
Okay.
That's how they found out. And we're never going to have that discussion. I can feel the tension and like, yeah, why are you writing about LGBT romances? And I'm just like, if you think about it really hard, you might come up with the answer. But I never had a certain sense of this is definitely who I am. I just kind of assumed that everyone else felt the same way. And it wasn't until someone actually was like, no, other people don't experience that I was like, oh, I'm not straight. Huh. Amazing. And then a lot more things made sense. So, but yeah, I had that very kind of weird relationship with other women where I was like, I can't tell if I'm jealous of them, if I'm attracted to them, if I want to be them. Surely this is just a thing all women experience, and it's no, not really. So that was eye-opening. That was quite fun to learn in my mid-20s to be like, oh,
I think
nice.
you actively describe some of the trans experience as well there. It's like, do I want to be this person? Like,
Yeah.
especially going possibly male to female, or I think male to non-binary. Do I want to be this person, or do I want to be with this person?
Yeah, it's funny because I've always had because of my disabilities, I've always been vaguely dysphoric because my body doesn't feel like mine because I have so many problems. And part of that was looking at other people and going, God, I wish that was me. You know, and I didn't really work that out until, yeah, my late 20s. I was like, oh, this is a thing where I'm projecting onto. Yeah, it was all very messed up in my head. Like the whole idea of identity and attraction were very mixed up for me for a very long time, which it was really helpful for me getting into fandom because it was actually other bisexual people that were like describing their stuff, and I'm like, I mean, everyone's like that, and I was fully rooted in everyone has this feeling, everyone's that, you know, that same way, and it genuinely didn't occur to me that it wasn't that way for everyone.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that you can go for so long in like a culture where everything's just like washed with the same heteronormative brush, that like you can grow up with those feelings and kind of going like, yeah, that's just how it is, and it's not until you start hanging around a lot more queer media that you realize like, hey, this is for me. All of this, like, these feelings are for me, and I'm allowed to be these things. But I was just never told what they were.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's funny too because then you have other people still trying to put standards on you, and it's for me because I'm married to a cis man. It's like, well, you're not really, you know, you're not really queer, and it's just like, no, I am. So is he, but you know, we may be straight passing, but that's not a privilege essentially because we're still having part of our identity taken away by saying that.
The fact that I mean, I feel very similarly that my partner and I are both both non-binary now, but when we entered the relationship, we were both cis. And yeah, like I'm aware that so many people on the outside who don't know us will see it as like a straight passing relationship, but that bothers me. You know, the fact that that's not perceived as a queer relationship.
I mean, I get my posts get fairly popular on Tumblr, and back in the day when I was posting about one of my most liked ones is how my partner proposed to me, and people were tagging it with "some straights are okay," and I was like, "That's nice, but doesn't apply here."
Yeah, it's also it's nice but wrong.
Yeah, and it was like the one that actually made me laugh was some heterosexual nonsense is allowed, and I got annoyed because I actually replied to this one person like, "That's nice but bisexual," and they're like, "Yeah, same thing," and I was like, "Oh no, you don't get to erase that."
Oh, hon, you got a big storm coming.
And the big storm was most of my Tumblr following going, "Oh hell no." So that was, it's weird to have an identity that you're between things almost.
Yeah.
And they want you to be one thing more than the other, but that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, like
Ever.
a gender that doesn't conform to binary, or a sexuality that doesn't conform to a binary. In a traditional, like, imagined way. I believe the term is monosexual. For people who are only attracted to one gender. I think there's definitely a lot of overlap between like the bisexual and non-binary experience. What's also interesting to me is because like Joy, to some extent you were kind of to your parents outed by your work.
I was fully outed by my work. That was the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and Lewis, you have Super Ego, which is about a non-binary supervillain. So both of you very much, I feel, put your identity in the stuff you create.
Yeah, absolutely. That is undeniable for my work. And it's just funny. Like I never thought my work would take off in the way that it did, and it's like, oh, shoot! Now everyone knows. Okay, I guess we're gonna have to deal with that conversation, and it's never come up, and I'm like, that's fine.
I think for me now, I feel like, although I mean I've been out such a short time compared to the veterans of the community, I feel if I'm making art as a non-binary person, I want to do my utmost to have that aspect of my identity in it, you know, because that's, I think. And there's so much of a push to for representation, and how important that can be to have, like, if I'd been growing up and there was like a non-binary composer in the mainstream about to be as a kid, I could have seen them and be like, oh, that's super sick, I want to be just like them, I want to make this kind of art. And I think, not like trying to make it out like I've got a much larger platform than I do. I'm aware that it's niche. I think it's important to me to have those aspects in it all the time.
But the thing is that the thing that you're calling niche means the world to somebody else. It's, you know, it becomes the community that you're able to build around yourself, and it's so important to have that. And for me, it's been my Tumblr blog. It's just been it's become one of the most positive aspects of my life, although I like to complain about it sometimes because it is Tumblr. But
the bin fire of the internet.
Yeah, the bin fire of the internet that is somehow still not as bad as Facebook. But
funny that.
But it has been a hugely positive experience for me, both as a disabled person and as a queer person. I found my community online that I would not have otherwise found.
Yeah. I was very similar. My community, my understanding of gender came from Tumblr and teenagers and Minecraft servers, rather than any formal education. Yeah, back in the day, you know, we didn't have resources like ContraPoints or anything. You discovered your identity by going through 800 posts on Tumblr and being like, I think this one sounds like me.
Which is how I got my ADHD diagnosis, because I was going, oh man, it's the meme right now is like either people with ADHD need to stop being so relatable or I need to go see the doctor. That was essentially what happened to me with finding out I was neurodivergent. It was all of my followers going, Joy, you need to talk to someone because this is what's happening. And I was fully in denial. I was like, no, like this is whatever. And then sure as hell I do the ADHD test and she's like, oh wow, you're really hyper. You are really high up on like this, if on the spectrum you're like off the rails for hyper. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's why I struggle with this, and this. Oh, if I'd known that as a kid, school could have actually not been hell. Like,
yeah, I believe I'm neurodivergent in a few ways more than what I've currently been diagnosed with, and I'm coming to that realization again via Tumblr.
Yeah, it's.
It all comes back to Tumblr again and again.
It really does.
There's no escape.
Tumblr is such a unique place on the internet because there's nowhere else that that you could have conversations about gender identity and mental health and race and fandom and crucifix nipple stuff.
But the people that
I just wish there wasn't
up...
so many fucking Nazis.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, that'd be good. I wish there were less Nazis. Period.
Periods.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Go back to Parlor. You're ruining my Tumblr experience as I get to talk about vampire crucifix nipples.
Hey, that is a rite of passage coming on Tumblr. You have to endure that post. If I have to endure it every 6 months when someone finds it and makes it go viral on some godforsaken site, then so does everyone else.
Gets a dramatic reading at 3 in the morning on a Twitch stream. It was like 6 in the morning.
It's for a good cause, so that's...
Exactly.
It was. I think we did that for passing, what was it, 6,000?
6,000, yeah.
Yeah.